Oh, it feels so good to be back at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. 2 weeks away. Titans are officially home until week 1. We got a preseason finale at Nissan Stadium this Friday. We got Kirby, we got Lucas. Robert is off doing Big J journalism type of things on the field since practice is ongoing, or will soon be ongoing in just about 3 minutes from now, and we are looking forward to having a couple of people come hang out with us up on the SeatGeek Terrace today. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. We've got stock up, stock down. We've got live practice observations. I guess not really live practice observations, but we'll give practice observations after watching practice live. And we have a starting quarterback.
If you start giving away state secrets, there's no fans.
And we have a starting quarterback announcement in Knoxville. So much to discuss today on what is a quiet but beautiful day at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park.
It feels so much better up here than it does out there. We are very blessed to be up here on the SeatGeek Terrace out of the elements. I mean, technically we're outside, but we are in the shade. They are very much not. It is hot as hell here.
Not
in
a cloud in the
Tennessee.
Sky.
Yeah, no protection from the elements today. I would venture a guess to say it is hotter today than it was at any point in the last 2 weeks in Tampa Bay, Florida, or Atlanta, Georgia. Lucas.
Really?
In fact, we got very favorable conditions in Atlanta. In Atlanta specifically. Chattanooga got the worst of it seems, with all the weather situations that were rolling through last week. Hopefully everybody's doing well down there, but we've got Ben Jones making his maiden voyage as a football season regular with us today. He'll come hang out in the 11 o'clock hour, and then we'll have a punting crosstalk between Brett Kern and Johnny Hecker in the noon hour after practice concludes today. No press conferences scheduled. Players are going to meet with the media coming off the field. The coach also did not speak today, so nothing to necessarily update. Since we all got back to Nashville on Saturday and had the recap press conference of preseason game number 2, which, was a mixed bag, I suppose. All preseason games are kind of a mixed bag of different things that you expect to see or maybe don't expect to see, but specific to the quarterback who is going to carry the discussion all season long, less plays in Atlanta for Cameron Ward than there were in Tampa Bay, even though he played one more series in Atlanta than he did in Tampa. 2 3-and-outs, one drive that looked like it had a little juice until Van Jefferson dropped what was one of the prettiest passes I've seen this man throw. I don't think I've seen many Titans quarterbacks generally in however many it's been that I've covered since I've been here over the course of the last 10 years. That was one of the more impressive throws that I've seen under duress, and unfortunately for Cameron Ward, Van Jefferson was not able to bring it in.
Yes, unfortunately that leaves Cam's stat line a little bit wanting at 2 of 7.
42 yards, and a rating of 52.1.
Yeah, so less attempts even than he had in Tampa, despite having one extra drive. He has had a few of those in camp, those throws where you're just like, man, okay, when's the last time a quarterback here could do that,
but it's
whether
so
it's in
much
practice
more real when he's got an actual pass rush on his neck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But it's unfortunate that because you wonder what could have happened with that drive because that's a big play. It would have been right off the heels of that 35-yard connection with Alec Iomanner. Very clear intention to get Alec Iomanner the ball on Friday night. Iomanner had a carry as well behind the line of scrimmage. He got in there with 4 targets, 2 catches for 47 yards. And, some good, some bad. A better game overall than the one in Tampa. A competitive game. It comes down to the wire. Stock up. Trevor Siemian.
No, not yet. Not yet. Save it.
Stock down Tim Boyle. I feel bad because he hasn't played in the last week, but still stock down because Trevor Siemian made it a little more tolerable in the fourth quarter. But he's been there, done that in the NFL.
Oh, the fourth quarter of a preseason game. Tolerable is not the word that I would use, but there are plenty of guys here trying to make the roster, and there will be one last opportunity to do it, and it will be in front of a home crowd Friday night at Nissan Stadium. I know we're excited to be doing everything at home this week, and I know fans are excited and hopeful that they will see starters, though I'd be curious to see what the Titans coaching staff plan here is, because today was not necessarily scheduled heading into this week, or at least that was not on the docket before they sent us all an email yesterday, saying that they would add a padded practice on Monday, so they will have 3 padded practices this week ahead of a preseason game, Lucas, which at least makes me skeptical about the idea that starters might play. It's just, speculation at this point. We'll follow up with the head coach tomorrow and see what their plan is. Maybe they don't divulge all the details this early in the week, but, if they get good enough work in, would there be any hesitation of putting Cameron Ward, etc., out there on the field at Nissan Stadium? I don't know.
If they do, it will be a slight departure. Callahan has said, I feel like at every turn, he'll probably play in every game. That starters,
but like
to some
after
degree.
last season, I don't know. He would say some things, and I don't hold this against him, but there were some times last season he'd say some stuff at a press conference, and then they do something different, which is fine. They're allowed to change their plans. It's just we do put a great deal of importance on their words, given that we talk about their words for 3 hours a day. So
especially this time of year.
Yeah, I try to. A little room for flexibility there.
Oh, sure. That's not to say that it's not their prerogative to change their minds, but I do think they kind of had the intention, subject to change, but general intention to see Cam get snaps in all 3 preseason games. But they have every right to determine that based on what they see out of the work they get in practice this week. Don't know if we'll see J.J. McCarthy. He did not play in the preseason game last weekend for Minnesota. He did play in the opener against Houston, so it very well could be Brandon Allen against, who's the backup in Minnesota?
Oh, isn't it Nick Mullen?
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
That's right.
Sam Howell. Okay,
Man,
so
he's bouncing around lately.
That's kind of the life of a backup. Bud. 615-737-1045 is the number. This kind of feels weird driving a show after letting you do it all last week, but I don't know. I rather liked sitting back and enjoying things and making you do all the heavy lifting.
That's not a bad gig.
Yeah. Well,
Brett Rippon, also a Vikings quarterback.
Okay, very good. So Sam Howell and Brett Rippon coming to a Nissan Stadium preseason game near you. But anyway, 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in out at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, as we are hanging out here today. The F&M Bank chat also at your disposal. Wave hi to the people on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.
Robert is our
Marcus Spears. What is the side wave or the pageant wave?
Robert is our field reporter downstairs today, so maybe we get a live check-in. He can't tell us what he's seeing, but maybe we get like a weather report or something or the other. I'm sure there's something he can talk about.
It's going to be like the Family Guy weatherman. It's hot.
It's hot. Yeah.
Back to you in the studio.
And Bert sweats when he's hot.
Oh, Bert sweats anyway. It's just a very uncomfortably sweaty human being. But, we'll see what he looks like by the end of practice today, and we'll be able to keep an eye on things because we do have a bird's eye view from practice today. So we will have our vantage point. Robert will have his. He's down there to shoot some things for social media, which you will be able to consume ad nauseum after practice today. We are going to do a little stock up and stock down for the bulk of this hour, coming off of preseason game number 2. If you want to go ahead and jump in now ahead of the next segment, we would be curious to hear who you feel acquitted themselves well in the second preseason game versus what you saw against Tampa Bay, who you're seeing earn more opportunities, and the coaching staff talked at great length about that specifically. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves with the Tennessee news because there is official confirmation on the starting quarterback, but that's not really been a mystery, I would say.
Maybe I'm slightly surprised that they announced it about 2 weeks out. Clearly there was some separation in their fall scrimmage over the weekend, but we'll get to that. Before we get to any of those things, though, Kirby has a bone to pick with you about the way you handled yourself this weekend, given the slightest shred of responsibility going off by yourself and gallivanting around in Atlanta and getting to miss most of the show during joint practice.
Okay, I knew better. The minute he called me and said, I need a kit to go to Tampa, I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and I was like,
Nobody knows what you mean. What kind of kit?
Broadcast kits. We loaned him the NX, and I sent him 3 headsets, and I get photographs on how to pack it, a little quick setup guide. I coached him on how to properly pack everything.
You have lovely handwriting, by the way. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that.
Every school teacher I ever had. But, anyway, you're not going to change the subject and distract me with a compliment.
Please.
So I opened this case in the building on Saturday morning or afternoon, evening, whatever the hell time it was, I don't know. And my first thought was, oh, for the love of God. And so I'm like,
Did
okay.
a child pack this?
I thought a blind
baby.
cat had helped him out. One of his cats had gone with him. So anyway, I'm like, okay.
I did think about taking Frank with me. It was a long road trip.
Bustled around in the moving. Maybe some things got moved. Well, then I opened it up. I have to put the rest of the stuff in and get ready for today. And I come up in here this morning. I can get by with the things weren't put in the correct pouch because they're similar pouches. Okay, whatever. But the winding of cords, and I literally sat right there at this table, and we had a tutorial last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm like, look, okay, you can do this. Just don't ever do this. What were they done? They were like,
precisely the way that he told me not
I
to.
stroked out up here, almost just retired. I was like, that's it. I just can't take this
If
anymore.
you force Kirby to retire,
that's the thing that puts him over after all these years.
I will never forgive you for that. So he put the equipment at risk, and he should never be given the privilege of getting it again.
I don't say he put it at risk, but he did not handle it with the love and care that I do, and so that it continues to work, so we can continue to do things like this from out in space. And that may, because he doesn't like to be out of the studio, it may have been on purpose. I don't know if he's trying to sabotage the rest. He's like, okay, I'm not comfortable out on the street, so we're just gonna.
Kirby, I don't sabotage them on purpose. I just take vacation days when you guys put me on remote, so I don't have to go anymore.
I have no idea what alternative motives might have been. But I will say this: you're going to have to work long and hard to get back on my good side.
Oh God, I've got plenty of time between now and February, which is the next time that I'll see Kirby Allen Kirby, because it's the next time that I'm going on a remote.
What's that? The combine?
It's the next time you'll see me,
Kirby.
Oh, goodness. So we will do the stock up, stock down. Stock down, my ability to pay attention to the details that Kirby Allen Kirby coaches me up on, shocking to nobody, as we broadcast live here from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. It is always good to be prepared. Kirby Allen Kirby does his best to try and prepare me for certain situations, but when it comes to adverse weather conditions or just generally protecting yourself against power outages, Premier Generators is there to help you. It's more straightforward, the installation process, than most people think. Premier Generators takes care of everything from design to permitting, installation, so you don't have to stress about the details. There is no guesswork, and with a free 10-year warranty, they are there to make sure that you don't have to think about any of this stuff. Premier Generators is where you go. Call them for an appointment today so you can be power outage ready. That's 855-POWER-IS-ON, 855-POWER-IS-ON, or visit them online at premiergenerators.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Thought about going to Hattie B's in Atlanta. Had the traffic been more forgiving down there? Of course, any one of their Middle Tennessee locations before they open up here at 11 a.m. You can mobile order Hattie B's wherever you are here in Davidson County, whether you're working from home or at the office. Just download the app. If it's your first time using it, you can even get a free dessert. Who doesn't like free banana pudding? Delightful. 615-737-1045 is the number. Whose stock rose coming out of preseason game number 2? Whose stock fell? We can get into that together. We will take your submissions throughout the course of the rest of the hour, and then Ben Jones is going to come hang out with us, as he will do every Monday, to recap games. Benny's going to be out here on the practice field, and it's going to be an interesting discussion about not just the young quarterback, but also the offensive line, who is acquitting themselves pretty well. Cautiously optimistic about a Titans offensive line unit.
Powder's a little wet on the offensive line after that performance. One interesting thing before we get to stock up, stock down, was as Dan Moore Jr. left the field, surprised to see Oli Udoh come in at left tackle.
As opposed, how you're getting out of that first name, Oli?
Yeah, Oli, well, you go ahead.
No, I'm all set. I had a hard enough time trying to tweet it.
As opposed to Jalen Duncan or John Ojukwu, and they did come in and play opposite one another with the twos, but that swing tackle spot, like if the Titans lose a tackle for a play or two, it still feels so wide open. I have no idea who comes in.
I don't think Jalen Duncan is long for the roster, but we will see. You know, that's just a gut feeling type of situation, not to get ahead of myself, and we obviously have a few more practices and a preseason game to make any final determinations that way, and coaching staff may have some notion of what direction that they're going to go to, but of course injury, God forbid, could always happen and change up the plans on that front. So, Ross, do you have the appropriate stock floor or stock trading floor sound? I'm sure you don't, because he's probably not prepared for this segment. Do you?
Don't believe so.
Yep.
Oh, come on. It's right. It's not over.
I mean, in his defense, we didn't tell him that we were going to do this. So
can play cash register.
I don't want the cash register. And in fact, I think Robert used something different the last time we did this.
Just give us like a clanging sound, Ross, like a stock exchange.
Yeah, do you have something that would serve as a bell?
Like they ring the bell.
Yeah, go find a bell somewhere in the studio and then bring it to the microphone and ring it.
You could also just do it a cappella.
Ding, ding.
Nice.
I felt that.
We are so crappy as a radio broadcast product, but that's fine. It's fitting. All right, the trading floor is officially open. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell out of preseason game number 2? I will take one off the board that I'm sure we're going to get to, but it was probably my favorite thing to watch on Friday night, and I will take Gunnar Helm off the board first and foremost. Now, here's the thing, all right, because
there it is.
There we go. All right, we'll take it on delay. Was that laugh over the air, or was that just in my ear? Because that was so not what I expected your laugh to sound like.
Oh, man. That was good.
No, that's more like it.
Yes, it's just disconcerting. Anyway, Gunnar Helm, number 84, rookie tight end, one of 3 fourth-round pass catchers that this roster is currently trying to integrate into the offense, and Chikakonko is still a better top-to-bottom player. So I am not expecting that Gunnar Helm would be what people would consider tight end 1 right away, but I will tell you that they are very optimistic about him, that they are still helping him learn the nuances of the position, which Chig obviously has far more experience at, despite them being different kinds of tight ends and probably different in their deployment. But a big contested catch for a touchdown from Brandon Allen, who just threw it up and bleep it, Gunner's down there somewhere. And sure enough, between a couple of Falcons defenders, he was able to bring it down. Great strength at the point of the catch, haul it in, and score his first NFL touchdown, even though it's not a regular season touchdown. I'm sure he counted it. Stock up, Gunnar Helm, rookie out of Texas.
Yeah, Chig has his place on this roster and within this scheme with his skill set, how it differs from Gunnar Helm, how they can kind of move him around. We've seen them motion him with some stuff in preseason games. But I think Gunnar Helm leads the tight end room in receiving yards this season. I think Cam Ward's going to look to him. I think he has a knack for getting open. I think he has a knack for combat catches, exactly like the one we saw. By the way, shout out to Brandon Allen, who was much better in Atlanta than he was in Tampa, who threw a nice back shoulder ball to Gunner, who had a couple defenders around him, but he put it in a spot where he could get it. And the adjustment in midair, the combat catch in the end zone, stock is definitely up on Gunnar Helm, who ended up leading the team in receiving yards, caught all 4 of his targets for 48 yards, including that 25-yard score.
And I think he led everybody in targets as well, or he might have been tied in targets with
Iomanner and Prochet.
Yeah, and obviously Iomanner started, given no Calvin Ridley or Tyler Lockett in preseason game number 2. You want to go stock up or you want to go stock down?
Well, let's hear from Cam Ward on Gunnar Helm and watching that play from the sideline if we can.
We can.
Gunnar a dog. Every chance I get to, target him in practice, whether I throw a back shoulder ball, a ball like BA threw, he always comes down with it. He's a big target. Those two connected on a great touchdown. But I think the biggest thing about Gunnar, he never complains. He's somebody who shows up to work every day, puts the work in, and, we call it verticals right there. So, when in doubt, vertical it out.
When in doubt, vertical it out.
I like it.
That, you talk about all these Titans fans trying to make like Psych Ward T-shirts and all these kind of different phrases that they're trying to.
Gunnar Helm's got a few nicknames of his own.
Oh, does he?
You haven't heard the Helm's Deep? Helm, yeah? I mean, it goes on and on.
From who?
For someone who spends every waking moment on Twitter, I'm always surprised.
I actually don't.
Something that goes around.
I'm way more on
Titans
TikTok.
Twitter.
I just put things out into the universe on Twitter and then I run away. I roll the grenade out there and then I run away.
You haven't seen the Helm's Deep going around?
Buddy, if you think I'm spending a second more than I need to on Titans,
you probably don't even
Twitter,
get that reference, do you?
It's Lord of the Rings, right?
Okay, good job.
That I got.
But yeah, I mean, should we put it to a poll? Who ends up leading the tight end room in receiving yards?
Well, let me
year?
not make it about receiving because I'm inclined to go receiving with Chig just because of the versatility that I think that he has within an offense where you can deploy him out of the backfield. You can put him in line. You can obviously spill him out wide. Now, if you're talking about who leads them in snaps...
No, but I'm not. I'm purposely not because that is a conversation in and of itself. Okay. But I think it'll be a tight race there between Okonkwo and Helm on receiving yards. Who ends up contributing the most in the passing game from the tight end position when you're talking about Gunnar Helm, who, as we've talked about, was the second lead receiver on a Texas team that was worthy of winning a national championship last season.
Now, the thing that you may not be including in your analysis or in the discourse here is that Chig is in a contract year.
That's true.
And so they, to your point, they may focus in on Gunnar Helm as far as, all right, can we afford to let Chig Okonkwo go? I would venture a guess to say yes, but obviously we'll let things play out during the season. I think in an ideal situation they would like to do that. But I also think that the motivations of a contract year may see somebody go above and beyond. Like, he doesn't have to be 2020 Jonnu Smith or anything like that where he's just a touchdown vulture. And I know you're talking yards as opposed to touchdowns there. But I don't rule out anything in a contract year for any player.
But I don't know if that impacts Cam Ward establishing a connection with someone in the run of play. And I think that's going to be there with his rookie classmate, Gunnar Helm. LT3 on the F&M Bank chat, where you can jump in on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, says, a nightmare on Helm Street.
Oh, God.
Bustin' Diamond says, Hail Mary, full of grace. That one's the reach. And that one's... We got to do better
Hail
than that.
Mary.
Yeah, we got to do better than that.
Really, as far as the chat goes, though, that's probably, God bless them, that's about as good as they can do on any given day. If you want to live stream the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So I led stock up. You want to lead stock down?
I will, but quickly before I do that, I'll tell you one thing that'll make you say, Helm, yeah. 104.5 The Zone's college football kickoff. Happening Friday, August 29th at Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison.
11 days.
Robert and I will be there broadcasting live. Cover 2, 3HL will be out there. And while you're there, sign up for a chance to win Tennessee football season tickets and more. Plus, free kickoff T-shirts, glasses, and other prizes for the first 250 people that show up. To learn more, visit 1045thezone.com/events. We are right there on the cusp of college football this weekend in Ireland.
Yes.
Kansas State. Iowa State in Ireland.
Famously
exactly what
I
think of when I think about what the Irish sports fan wants out of its Saturday in August.
Yeah, the Irish sports fan just wants to get drunk and go yell at people, right? Like, it ain't that deep.
I guess so.
I mean, that's what the London games turn into more often than not.
Or they want to watch Rocco Becht play football.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Strong Rocco Becht fan base in Dublin, I'm sure.
I'm going to go stock down on a unit and say special teams. I think there's a lot of work to be done for John Bones Fossil. 6 penalties on the Titans overall. 3 of them were on special teams. You had TJ Sheffield not helping himself with that fumble on the kickoff. Joey Sly missing an extra point. He did get 1 field goal attempt. It's a 23-yarder that was shorter than any of the extra points he attempted, and he did chip that in. Johnny Hecker ended up with, what are the punting numbers? 6 punts, an average of 47.7, which at surface level is good. His first punt of the day, I think you could tell he was frustrated with himself, kind of just the way he was, just his body language coming off the field.
He's on the show today with Kern, so we can ask them both about it.
Yeah, so, but I'm going to go special teams. And I feel like with one preseason game left that there hasn't been any leeway made one way or another in figuring out who the lead return man's going to be. They're alternating back there with Prochet, with Jaquan Jackson. Neither has really gotten an opportunity to break one loose. They barely got opportunities to return on Friday night. James Prochet had 1 return for 11 yards. Jackson had 1 return for 5 yards.
Also, Joey Sly missing the extra point after the pick six.
Thank you for listening to the show. That's right. That was in there as well.
I wasn't paying attention to you. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking so I can talk. That's
so,
how this typically works.
Just generally, I think there's work to be done. We're doing the same thing with special teams that I think some of us did last year with the O-line. Well, Bill Callahan's here. It's going to get fixed, right? John Bones Fossil is here, and that's great, but there's still a lot of work to be done to patch up what was one of the worst units in the league last year.
Which is a reasonable observation, and we can get into that with Johnny Hecker and Brett Kern in the noon hour today. I'm sure there will be some valuable special teams crosstalk between a couple of great NFL punters, longtime NFL punters. So I will go stock down Van Jefferson, and the drop is the glaring thing, and I think on any other roster in the NFL, we were talking about this via group text during the game, I think on any other NFL roster, he's probably not here, and the money is something that, makes me think that he's still vulnerable, but week 1 is a lot to ask, especially if you're going to feature as many young guys, and they've talked a great deal about featuring a lot of young guys, first and second year players. So you don't rule out any possibility. And he's, Brian Callahan after the game, I asked him specifically about that instance and kind of where things stood with the wide receiver competition. And he said that they are going to need all of those guys this year. The thing that stood out to me, though, was the way that, let's hear from Brian Callahan first about the Van Jefferson drop. This, I believe, Ross, is from Saturday's press conference back in Nashville as opposed to Friday night in Atlanta.
I think there's a maturity in that. Most quarterbacks learn that, whether or not it is their fault or isn't their fault, their job is to always take the blame for it. I thought it was a nice throw. I thought Van had a chance to catch it. I think you can always nitpick it and hey, if you took a little off, might have been easier. If you threw it 6 inches closer, might have been. There's always a place to be better. Ultimately, I'd like to see them both connect on that. There really wasn't. It would have been a tough catch. I think we can acknowledge it was a tough catch, but would have liked to see it get connected. Both between Cam and Van. But I appreciate Cam's willingness to accept responsibility. He didn't shy away from it. He knows things that he can do better, and he never has a moment where accepting responsibility is hard for him. I think he understands the role and understands what it means to play quarterback, and that's part of it.
And what Brian Callahan is referencing there is what Cam Ward had to say about the exchange or about that specific play on Friday night, and you'll hear from Cam Ward. I got to get myself into the habit of saying Cameron Ward on Friday night because that's what he wants to be called.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
I missed this. When was this?
Him and his parents have been pretty adamant about that. You'll notice that we've all started tweeting Cameron as opposed to Cam, even though, it's whatever. I don't think he's going to, excoriate you.
I feel like the ball's rolling on Cam.
Well,
is this like a Bijan situation?
No, because it's not changing the way that the actual name sounds so he can sell mustard. Shill.
Taylor Zarzer had an interview with Falcons play-by-play voice Wes Durham on Titans Countdown, where and Wes is talking about how they initially met with Bijan Robinson during his rookie season, and it's Bijan, and he alerted them on how you actually say the name, and so they started saying it on the air and started just getting roasted by Falcons fans because they're saying his name wrong. It's Bijan, not Bijan, and now people seem to be coming around that it's Bijan. So Cameron over Cam. All right,
Cameron over Cam. So it's Cameron Ward. And let's just go ahead and hear from Cameron Ward on Friday night after the game and after that missed opportunity between the rookie quarterback and a veteran wide receiver.
Really, next play. That's all we can do. If I need to throw the ball better, or if he thought, I let him too far out in front, or if he just thought, he dropped the ball. So at the end of the day, it's on both of us. We got to make that play. It's better happen now than, come season time.
What did he say after that?
Not much, just I got you. I really came up to him, see how the ball was. He thought it was a little bit out of front, so I just got to put it on his chest next time.
I would, if I was Van Jefferson, I would not be providing constructive criticism to the absolute seed that Cameron Ward threw in his direction. I don't know how much better that ball could have been placed under duress in that spot. But, he's not trying to, sell his teammate out or anything there. He's just saying, we provided each other with constructive criticism, and next time we've got it. Okay. I just, that is the kind of thing that you look out for in this specific season when they're trying to get to a place where they are improved, not just at the quarterback position, but around the quarterback position. You would hate to see a situation like that play itself out in a game of consequence, in a one-score game where every little play is going to matter. You would like a player who is going to be capable of making that play. Now, again, it's a tough play. It's a tough catch. I acknowledge that, but
that's what the money's for, right? As Don Draper said.
Well, he doesn't make that much money for a reason because he's not that good of a wide receiver.
But this is the part where we, as unathletic sports radio people, watching practice up in the shade on the SeatGeek Terrace, look at Van Jefferson and say, you have to catch that. This is the NFL. You have to catch that ball. But that's just kind of what it is. Coach Mack said it during the Titans radio broadcast, and I think everybody watching that game, everyone in the room knows, you got to catch that ball. To your point, if that is in the fourth quarter, in a tie game where you got to get into field goal range to kick a field goal and win the game instead of going to overtime, that's a drop. That's being talked about as a drop, and rightfully so. Yeah. You got to catch that ball. Now, one discourse that I continue to see from Titans fans, and I'm seeing it from Q.
I was just getting ready to bring it up.
Okay, please. Because I've seen this a ton since Friday night.
Well, you read the comment, and I'll give you a response.
So Q says, do you give Van a spot over Xavier, who already has a great connection with Cam Ward?
Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know who doesn't beat the coverage in that situation?
Exactly.
The receiver that looks like he runs in cement. I'm not going to say that I don't care at all about their college connection, okay, because that's a thing. And I mentioned rewatching that Miami-Louisville game when I was in Atlanta, and that was the game that he surpassed Michael Irvin as far as the program receptions leader. And these are great college accomplishments, and there are plenty of great accomplished collegiate players that don't make it in the NFL. Xavier Restrepo is going to be a practice squad guy. And if you're going to get bent out of shape or butthurt about it, that's fine, but you're wasting your energy in that direction. And I would tell you, just let them earn it. In the same way that people get bent out of shape about, people in the national media don't talk enough about Cameron Ward. Okay, let him earn it. In the same way that people talk about Xavier Restrepo, let him earn it. And I think that he would tell you that in an honest moment, too. There's no reason to try and make him something he's not. If he ends up having an NFL career, he will have earned it throughout the course of this. It is a crowded wide receiver room. It is not a great wide receiver room by any stretch of the imagination. It's Calvin Ridley and a bunch of other dudes who are trying to prove it at this point in their respective careers. But Xavier Restrepo is not currently a professional wide receiver. I mean, he is. He's on a professional roster, but you get my meaning.
Q continues. He says, Xavier would have caught that ball with one finger.
Okay, well, then you're dumb, and I don't want to carry on the discourse.
At that point, I hope he's just doing a bit. But
I don't think so. Lucas, there's so many Titans fans who are mad as hell about that, and it's stupid.
If Xavier Restrepo had been teleported to the exact same spot where Van Jefferson was during that play, maybe he would have caught it. But you have to get to that spot. And to your point, Xavier Restrepo
so slow.
Is probably 8 to 10 yards behind where Van Jefferson was at that point on where that ball is landing. It's a non-conversation.
And if you think that was too far ahead of Van Jefferson, who is considerably longer than Xavier Restrepo is, then there's nothing to say that ball that he would have been able to lay out for that ball. You're just projecting, and it's backup quarterback syndrome. It's like if the starting quarterback underperforms, people immediately start to think that the backup quarterback is better because they haven't seen it, and then the backup quarterback comes in and it looks terrible because he's very much a backup for very many reasons. And that's fine. Xavier Restrepo is catching passes from the threes because he is a three.
I feel like there's a bunch of teams in the NFL this year. They're going to suffer from the backup QB syndrome. Indianapolis. It's going to happen with the New York Giants. It's going to happen in New Orleans. It's when Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck are the two battling it out for the starting job. But, don't let it happen here with the wide receivers. This wide receiver room is not deep enough to have that type of conversation.
We can continue Stock Up, Stock Down. Coming up next, 615-737-1045. We've talked a great deal about offense and special teams. There's some defensive names worth mentioning here. Ben Jones will join us in the second hour, as he will each and every Monday throughout the course of the football season. We're grateful for Ben's presence. He'll be at the facility with us. Brett Kern in the noon hour with Johnny Hecker as well. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Ben Jones just showed up. He'll sit down with us. Well, I mean, Ben can sit down whenever he wants to sit down. Kirby will get him squared away, and Benny's going to hang out with us during the football season like Nate Washington and Brett Kern. They're going to make us a hell of a lot smarter about the things that we're watching, but we don't actually know about, which is famously what media people do. Stock up, stock down is what we are in the midst of, coming out of preseason game number 2. Now, Ben, be careful. These are state secrets that you're watching right now. You now must abide by media rules, which means that practice is not open to the public, or we can't tell them what we're seeing right now until practice officially ends.
And you're a lot harder to throw over SeatGeek Terrace than we are, so I don't know what they would do with you.
Oh man, I'm blind as a bat anyway.
Oh, good. That'll make for excellent post-practice analysis.
No doubt.
If you want to go down and watch practice at any point, obviously, Ben, we won't keep you here, but it's good to see you, bub. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. It's good to see y'all.
You've been at the beach for like 3 years. You look like it.
I got to get away from Nashville. I'm not all about the city life, so spend some time with the family, and I was ready to come home.
Love that for you. So we have just been doing, when you go through a preseason game, Ben, and understanding that vets don't, once you get to a certain point in your career, you're not playing as much, or those things don't quite have the level of, I don't want to say level of urgency. There's always urgency in football, but you get my meaning, right? You know that you're on a roster, and guys like that are handled a little differently than dudes on the fringe. But for you as a vet, when you got to a point in your career where you were that level of established, what were preseason games like for you as you were getting on the sideline, or you were working on the sideline with guys who were trying to make this roster?
Yeah, it's all about communication. They got a young quarterback here, so they're in there operating, trying to make the calls. They want to be efficient, getting in and out the huddle, and it's like a game-like atmosphere. It doesn't count right now, but you want that first game. This is all leading up to the first game of the season and getting all the bumps and everything out. And, hey, how do you come off on the sideline? Like, hey, we got to communicate this better. We got to work the snap count. We got to do this. So that's when all this cleans up in actually game day operations.
Lloyd Cushenberry came off PUP last week. It was great to see him off that Achilles last November. We can't talk about whether or not he's on the practice field until after practice concludes, but just from the standpoint of getting reintegrated and establishing that connection with Cam, I know you and Marcus, you came in during Marcus' second year, so he wasn't quite a rookie, but what does that process look like of even just starting to build what is obviously a pivotal relationship for the offense?
Yeah, they've been in meetings and stuff together and able to talk through situations, but actually getting out there, taking snaps together, making calls, making sure they're seeing it through the same set of eyes, it's big. And getting him back whenever it's the next day or two, whenever that happens, it's going to be big for him. And you got a couple weeks now to lead up for the season, and that's time. That's plenty of time to get ready, be efficient, know how each other works and what each other likes, and that's going to be vital for having a young quarterback like this, having a veteran like that in.
How about your boy Levin, longest tenured Titan out here fighting for it? I know that Lloyd got activated off PUP, and they'll slowly start to integrate him back into things, but I mean, Corey done a pretty damn good job, and I don't like to give him credit for much.
Corey's my guy. He was my guy for so many years here. He is a great pro. He knows what to do. He comes to work every single day. He has a certain attitude about it, and nothing's given. He earns it every day, and that's what you want right now. He's come out here and showed 31 other teams that, hey, he can be a starter. He can do whatever you need. And that's what you want right now as a backup behind Lloyd. Like, he can come in and be serviceable, and Corey's one of my good buddies, and I'm happy to see he's still out there fighting.
Ben Jones hanging out on the SeatGeek Terrace as we start to, I was about to say something legal. As we watch Titans practice up here, and we'll update people on what we see here in about, 30 to 40 minutes
But
or so.
I tell you, you're going to be excited about it, the illegal thing that Lucas was just about to tell you.
So, your impressions of the offensive line performance through 2 preseason games. We're over here, Ben. Coach Mack always tells us to keep our powder dry. Having a hard time doing that right now.
Yeah.
It strangely, it feels
I'm just
like
so desperate, Ben. I'm so desperate.
And there is some of that too, but I'm in a place, and a lot of us are, where suddenly I feel the most confident about the offensive line after watching what they've done in year 2 of Bill Callahan. What have been your impressions through 2 preseason games?
Yeah, they haven't seen a lot of exotic fronts, not a lot of blitzes, but they're blocking guys. They're holding up in protection, giving Cameron some time.
There you go.
Yeah, I listened to you on the way in.
There you go.
I listened to you on the way in. But they're giving him time. That's what you want. You don't want to get a young quarterback gun shy, and they're doing the job. When it's only 4 rushing, they're blocking them. And a lot of times the past couple of years, 4 guys came and we didn't block them. And I feel like teams, if the only way now you're going to start getting more pressure as the year leads up. When you're bringing pressure now, it opens up more guys. So if you can't just rush 4 and get home, it's going to help the young guy and make plays for him.
Just from a communication standpoint, how different is preseason versus regular season based on the looks that you're getting and how much you have to be on the same page with the guy next to you?
Yeah, I feel like the hardest thing is the first 3 weeks of the season because it's a whole new year. You don't have all the tapes to break down. And so every week is a new game for you because you don't know what you're going to get, honestly. So that's when you got to stick to your rules. You know you're going to get some unscouted looks, and that's when you got to, hey, 5 guys got to be together and the quarterback all on one page because, yes, you're going to go to Denver and have unscouted looks. And what are you going to do in those situations? Is it going to be a sack? Is it going to be a throwaway? Those are the plays in the games that's going to make the difference.
Was 2020 the last time you played the Broncos?
2020, was that a home game?
No, it was a season opener. That was the Goskowski
Monday Night Football.
That was 2020 in Denver.
Yeah.
Where no fans were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was eerie.
That and if I recall correctly, Vance Joseph was not the defensive coordinator because Vic Fangio was still there at that time as the head coach. So obviously doing a lot of things
with Van Joseph in Houston. That tells you how old I am. He was our DB coach there.
Yeah.
Was he having the time of his life?
They were still running cover 4, press cover 4 match, if that helps you any.
Well, no, but like, Ben, I'm glad to have you be a part of this thing during football season because people don't necessarily, like, if you're a fan, you don't know how much a center knows about coverages.
Right.
And, like, how much you have to help inform what's going on, especially when you got a quarterback that's a little bit green and you may be able to identify something that he hasn't. So for the audience that may not be as attuned to the kind of things that you have to study up on, beyond just like, who am I blocking in front of me on any given snap?
Right.
Kind of walk us through what that looks like on a preparation standpoint and how varied that knowledge base actually is.
Yeah, so you're trying to take anything off the plays you can with quarterback. They do so much from play calls, shifts, formations, getting the receivers lined up right, getting us in the right checks. So anything a center can do for the quarterback and take it off. Hey, if it's coming out and making the mic point right away, and the only thing happens that needs to be changed is if the quarterback sees something different. Like, hey, I see something different here. Let's get out of this and do this on a protection. But getting that base call in there for him so he doesn't have to think about it unless it's some exotic front, the line can kind of handle a lot of stuff for him.
And, I mean, for you, when I guess it depends on who's under center or who's behind center in those situations, like, where were kind of the strengths and weaknesses of guys that you worked with while you were here in Tennessee? Like, what did Marcus do particularly well?
Marcus was an extremely smart guy, but he wasn't as vocal. So I was his vocal guy. I made the calls for him. But if anything showed up that he wanted to get out of it, or, hey, I want to be hot from this side because this is where my built-in hot is, he could flip the protection and do that. But overall, I set the protections for him, got him in the base thing so he knew he was protected. And I'd be like, hey, if any one of those two come, you're hot. So if he didn't like that, if he didn't want to be hot from that side, he could flip the protection and be protected because a lot of times quarterbacks see it different. Like, hey, I'd rather see the hot guy coming from the front side, not the back side. So everything is set up for the quarterback, and it comes down to him. Where does he want to see his hot? Where does he want to be hot from? And what is his answer to that? Like, hey, my answer is better on the check down to the right here on this play. So sometimes he'll leave the hot over there. So it comes down to the quarterback at the end of the day.
You feel smarter yet?
I feel plenty smarter. Definitely more than I did
plenty
before
smarter.
Ben
I don't
Jones
think that's
walked up
grammatically
here.
accurate either.
Well, we didn't say we didn't have more work to do. Ben Jones is hanging out up here at the SeatGeek Terrace as we take in Titans practice. We'll continue the discussion. Plus, a starting quarterback named in Knoxville. Hour 2 is coming up next.
Go Dogs.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans are back on the practice field this morning to kick off the final week of the preseason. Friday night, Titans won in Atlanta 23-20. Cam Ward got 3 series in with the starting offense, finishing 2 of 7 for 42 yards. Ward spoke after the game about the operation.
I think we're pretty good in terms of just operation-wise, getting in and out of the huddle, make sure guys are communicating at a high level. I think the biggest thing that we got to build from is just not starting backed up, and then also not, shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties or just unnecessary stuff that we don't need.
The Titans made a transaction yesterday waiving defensive lineman Philip Bleedy, and the team signed defensive tackle T.J. Smith, the former Charger, Viking, and Panther. Titans finish out the preseason this Friday at home against the Vikings. In Knoxville, the Tennessee Vols have named Joey Aguilar the starting quarterback. The App State and then UCLA transfer will be under center next Saturday when Tennessee opens the season against Syracuse. Nashville Soccer Club dropped a third straight loss for the first time this season with a 2-1 loss at NYCFC yesterday in a game that was stopped for 90 minutes with a weather delay. 7 regular season games left. Nashville still third in the East. They return home to host Orlando on Saturday. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5. The Zone.
Hour number 2 underway here at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Good to be home. Titans are going to be home for preseason game number 3 and home until week 1 against the Denver Broncos. Going to be here sooner rather than later. Ben Jones is hanging out with us. This is going to be the custom on Mondays in the 11 o'clock hour. Brett Kern is going to come up here at noon and do a little special teams crosstalk with Titans punter Johnny Hecker. We'll pivot back to some Titans discourse here in just a little bit, but since Ben is very much entrenched in the world of the SEC and there is news on the Tennessee starting quarterback front, I figure we do a little college ball. What do you got, Lucas?
Joey Aguilar is officially, not reportedly, but officially the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Vols in 2025, the former App State and then UCLA transfer that basically just swapped places. What's that show where people swap wives?
Wife swap.
Wife swap. All right. It was QB swap between Tennessee and UCLA. And Joey Aguilar, according to the football team itself, is the starting quarterback. Must have separated himself in the fall scrimmage, the second one they had, which was last Friday morning. Josh Heupel spoke after the scrimmage about just Aguilar's comfortability within the offense, which he didn't start learning until after spring practice when he transferred.
I thought he handled himself extremely well. That's today. I think he's got better from day one up until today's scrimmage, really, every single day. The comfort and control. He's handled himself extremely well during our night walkthroughs, which is, mental focus, mental sweat. And because of that, he's, extremely comfortable in what we're doing right now.
So the biggest question that I have, and Ben, you could definitely talk about this, especially with what Georgia went through with Stetson Bennett. He won the job. He was the best guy in practice. Joe Milton was that guy for Josh Heupel and his staff a few years ago. They got to look at Hendon Hooker in the spring. They said, we're going to go get our guy. Brought in Joe Milton with all the tools and the talent. He won the job. Then the lights came on. Offense had some limitations. Milton gets hurt. Hooker gets in, and it just clicks. And when the lights came on, Hendon Hooker ended up being that guy. Georgia, Stetson Bennett IV. I mean, they tried so hard to bring players in over him. He just kept being that guy. So I guess this is not something we can figure out until the game gets kicked off. But what I want to find out is Joey Aguilar the starter in practice, or is he the guy that is best fitted for this offense when the lights come on?
Absolutely. It's when you have in a controlled environment in practice, some guys succeed in that. But when you're not knowing the defense, what they're going to do, it's not scripted every day. How is he going to play in and play out? What plays is he going to do well in? How are you going to set him up for success? And what plays is he not going to make for you, and what can he? Like, you don't want to have a guy who's always just checking it down. You want a guy that knows when he can take risks and when he can't, because if you're not, it's hard to maintain those long drives, and let's see how it goes for him.
What'd you make of the Nico thing this offseason? Like how all that went down and you know, the genesis behind the wife swap, quarterback swap situation, because that's one of the craziest stories I've ever seen, Ben.
Yeah, that's it's hard to see what it's doing to college football. You can't blame these kids. They're getting advice from family members, agents, and at the end of the day, it comes down to these agents got to have the best interest in these kids, and it's not all about money sometimes. Hey, do you stay one more year, go to the league if you have a great year, or do you try to blow it up for a couple extra dollars? And that's what it's hard to see. Like, hey, do what's best for the kid and not best for you sometimes. And I think he says it's not for the money and all that, but when it comes down to it, the agent's not always looking out what's best for the kid.
Well, and that's the kind of dynamic that fans don't think about. They're just very quick to jump on you know, the kids on social media based on the behavior that they don't agree with, because obviously they're invested in the program, and you get where that comes from, even if it's misplaced, as a lot of fan angst on social media is. But like, you're working with high schoolers now,
right?
What do those conversations look like? Because you're probably more equipped to give them advice, given your professional experience working in that world, or the dynamics of working with representation and stuff like that, than you would be to talk to them about the college experience. Obviously, you've got a wealth of experience there to share across the board, but like, it's got to be very convoluted to try and talk to high school kids about this.
Yeah, when they're going through this whole recruiting process, they're asking like, hey, how was it for you? And I was like, guys, we had VHS. Y'all don't even know what that is. And going through that process, we picked the school. No matter if our coaches left or anything, you like, hey, this is where I want to finish my career. You picked it for the university, not for just one coach or anything like that, because you couldn't leave. And that's what I tell kids now, like, hey, it's not about just going where you think it's the hot spot or who's going to pay you the most. Where can you play the fastest so you're able to put more film on tape? Because, hey, if you go to a smaller school and ball out, another school will come find you. And it's a whole different dynamic. That was like the whole JUCO way. If you didn't get the offer you want now you can go to a smaller school and start right away as a quarterback and not have to wait, and then you get paid. So it's different approaches to it, and it's like the minor leagues of pro football. Like, you're getting in there and bouncing around and making money, where it used to be you went to school before a tradition, a program, and you were willing to wait a couple years to play.
Well, and that's kind of Joey Aguilar's path. As Ben Jones is hanging out with us on the SeatGeek Terrace at Titans practice, JUCO to App State to UCLA, and it looks like he's going to be the guy there. And then the Nico stuff comes crashing down, and suddenly he finds himself at Tennessee, which, by the way, Joey Aguilar is still eligible because of Diego Pavia. So there is something that Tennessee fans can thank Diego Pavia for, that JUCO rule that allows Pavia to play this year, same one that's keeping Aguilar in college football in 2025.
Yeah, what about Vandy right now? Look at this little guy. I mean, I don't even mean to be dismissive that way, but like, he is a bit diminutive, so I don't say that like to be totally dismissive, but he's getting laughed at on Paul Feinbaum because he's talking about national championship standards at Vandy, Ben.
Hey, you have to have goals and off-season things, and everybody, that's their initial goal, is to win a national championship, get in the playoff, win the SEC. We'll see how it goes for them. Like, I love Vandy. They've turned their program around last year, but we'll see.
Well, every team could say they have that goal, but most don't.
And it's very diplomatic the way you answered that.
It was.
You never know. Like,
saw the media turn and come back out.
Well, but Tennessee doesn't even have that goal. No realistic Tennessee fan can look at this season and say this is a national championship window type of season.
Right.
I mean, you've been a part of those teams during your time at Georgia where you're just trying to build towards something.
Yep.
And for Tennessee, you're looking at 2026 and beyond. Adidas money, Faison Brandon, the 5-star, coming down the pipe. Just the day-to-day grind of those type of seasons where, like, do players in the building kind of have that sort of knowledge of, we're probably not contending for a championship this year, but we're working towards something else? Like, what can that dynamic be like?
Yeah, you're sitting at Vanderbilt. They knocked off #1 Alabama last year at home. They're building something, and this is the best they've been in a long time. So it does bring a little fire to them, but they're still in the process of building it, and this coach, Coach Clark Lee, is trying to get the best. He's bringing fire to it. He knows his window's small. You got a veteran quarterback that brought juice last year to him and got him some key wins. So he's fueling off of that. And the whole main of it is, how can I get players in the building? Hey, yes, you're saying the right things. So the only way you win in the SEC is you got to have players. No matter how good a coach you are, if you don't have the players on the field, you're not going to win.
Aguilar beat out George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger for the starting job. And Tennessee brings back less than 40% of its offensive production from last year. Defense brings back a lot, and their talent profile has steadily improved year over year. But just generally, it's hard to pin down baseline expectations for this team. What do you think about what Tennessee is in 2024 and what they could be with the question mark that is Aguilar when the lights come on?
Yeah, you want to see how your quarterback plays. Last year you had Nico. Everybody was excited for him. You knew this was like his first shot of being in there. Yes, it would have been great to have year 2 with him there, learning, being in the system for 3 years. Now you're going through the learning curve again with a new quarterback. Hey, the play caller's got to get used to what's best for Joey. And, yes, you're going to have some learning curves. You got some big games early. You're playing Georgia, I think, week 3 or week 4.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So weird. And that's the thing with us, too. Like, we're trying to figure out the same thing. New quarterback. He's been in the system for a while. But I think the SEC is wide open this year. It's not like a dominant quarterback that's been through it. I think the sleeper is South Carolina. Their quarterback did it last year. You got a recurring thing. Like, I think they're the team that people are sleeping on.
Well, I guess I would push back because how on earth can they be a sleeper with that quarterback?
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And if anything, I think, well, that's the thing that I'm always curious about is like, all right, how much is it in college? Just the quarterback or just whatever star player you're looking at, it's able to will teams to a win. It's very, very difficult in the scope of football when you have so many different moving pieces and parts. But there's so many times where the dude just does something spectacular, and maybe the coaching staff gets credit for it publicly because some people in the media may not necessarily know what they're seeing or know what they're looking or looking at or be in the meeting rooms or things like that. But how could I possibly sleep on South Carolina when they've got that fire-breathing dragon at quarterback this year?
Yeah, and they have an offensive coordinator that knows how to use that guy's talents. You look back and who was he the offensive coordinator for when they were the best? He had Cam Newton at Carolina.
Yeah.
So he knows how to call those kind of plays for a quarterback. Hey, you got a guy who can run the ball, make it easy reads for him, and he's done that, and that's why I'm like, ooh, they might have something right there. And that's why I'm like, man, I'm glad they're not on Georgia's schedule this year.
Well, this is where we test Buck's ball knowledge in these moments. Who's he talking about?
Dow Loggins?
No,
not Titans legend Dow Loggins, who's now at App State.
How about Shula?
Mike Shula.
Yeah.
Former Alabama head coach.
Oh.
Carolina offensive coordinator.
You're kidding.
He's calling plays for Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
I did not know that.
Yes. So they are such...
Wasn't Dow Loggins back in the SEC, though?
He was at South Carolina recently. Yes.
Okay.
He was.
I feel like I should get a half point for that.
They feel so... boomer bust, Ben.
Don't laugh at me, Ben.
Where there's a reality where Lenore Sellers is one of the best, if not the best, offensive players in the SEC this year. Dylan Stewart might already be the best defensive player in the SEC, the edge rusher, only a sophomore. But they have so many pitfalls on this schedule.
They lost a lot, too.
Lost a ton on defense. It just feels like there's this season of expectation going in for South Carolina fans, like, okay, next step, playoff.
Yep.
But it feels like there's kind of this trap door under them of having to go to LSU. Virginia Tech is not a gimme to open the season in week 1. They play Alabama again, go to A&M. They'll host Clemson, Oklahoma. I think I'm more fascinated by South Carolina than maybe any other team in the SEC, just to sit back and see what happens.
Right. It's going to be an exciting season to watch, and you want to see if they can win the big game. They've been there. They've played close. They let 2 or 3 games just slip out their hands last year. And if they want to be a playoff team, the schedule is there for them. They have the big games. They can show everybody what they can do. And if you want to win a Heisman, Sellers, everything's on the table for you. Everybody, you're going to have the opportunity. You're going to have the big games. Let's see how you play and see if you're going to make the number 1 pick next year. It's going to be him or Arch.
Well, there's a number 1 pick out on the field right now for the Tennessee Titans, and practice is still ongoing for Cameron Ward and the Tennessee Titans. We'll get you updated as soon as practice concludes. But there's a couple of things that we got to talk to Ben Jones about. He's hanging out here with us. He'll be hanging out with us every Monday during the football season in the 11 o'clock hour, which we are very, very grateful for and looking forward to. More Titans talk here at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Ben Jones is hanging out with us. It's appropriate that we come back with a little bit of jelly roll. He texted me this morning. He made it to Germany. He's on his international tour with Post Malone, and it's the first time that he's been able to get out of the country because they gave him a pardon. Of course, as a convicted felon, that was not a sure thing. So for Jelly to be able to get to Europe for the first time, I don't know if it didn't seem like they're going to give him a ton of time to, experience things, though. He's on such a rigid tour schedule.
Yeah, I don't think that's how those tours work.
It's kind of crazy to me. Ben, when you guys did the international trips, you did, 2 while you were on the roster here?
One. One. We went in
2018.
18.
You didn't do 23. That was Brewer. Okay, that was that awful Ravens game. God.
Yeah, it was bad for them. I was on the 2-point conversion team. We went for 2 and tried to win it at the end of the game.
Oh, Taywan Taylor back in the end zone.
Yeah. Derrick Henry on the 1-yard line. We didn't give it to him.
Yeah, that's LaFleur.
3 chances.
Man. But, okay, so take me back, because Derrick was still kind of going through it at that point. That was 18. So that was
18 pre-Jags game.
Yes.
Which was
Deion
the hinge
Lewis
point.
was the guy that game.
Yep.
That's right. So, was Deion on that team?
Yeah.
He's the one who broke the power in the fourth quarter to get us in a chance to win at the end of the game.
Okay, so help me understand, when you're, as a player on an offense, and look, Matt has obviously acquitted himself quite nicely since he's gone on to be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, and far be it for me to criticize those decisions when I'm not smart enough to do them myself. But, as a player, when you've got Derrick Henry on a roster and you're doing stuff like that, what the hell is going through your head?
Yeah, he couldn't find Derrick a rhythm. Derrick is a unique back, and Derrick doesn't like tosses, and he doesn't like shotgun.
Which is crazy, because I feel like they ran a ton of tosses with Derrick towards the end.
Yeah, and he would let you know. Because when you toss the ball, it's literally telling your back, hey, we're taking the read out of you. You're not going to play a running back. You're running in one spot. Derrick likes to be able to see the whole defense. He wants to know where he can press and cut. He has a great vision, and he is a big guy. You would think, get him around the edge. He likes that. No, he wants to see it, put his foot in the ground, and be one-on-one with the safety. So, and now you give Vrabel his thing. He's like, hey, Derrick likes it a certain way. He put his thumb on it and told every offense coordinator from there on, hey, make sure he's happy and get him the ball the way he is and make him most successful.
Which is what Brian Callahan has talked about with Cam Ward, right?
No doubt.
In terms of that vocal communication. I thought it was interesting listening. I don't know if either of y'all actually got a chance to go back and listen to Marcus Mariota's interview with Bussin' with the Boys.
I definitely listened to it.
And he talked about.
Got me in my feels, Benny.
Love Marcus.
Yeah, it was a great interview. But when he talked about watching Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, it's a great interview. Keep it moving.
Watching Ryan Tannehill communicate with Arthur Smith when he got here. I like this, I don't like this. And Marcus talked about that as kind of this realization point for him of okay, I need to do more of that. And it seems like that communication has been there between Cam Ward and Brian Callahan. Callahan encourages that communication. How important is that between quarterback and head coach?
Yeah, you want to set him up for the most success possible. And if it's easy to switch out a certain route, a certain protection, so your quarterback's comfortable. You want him to be, hey, it's third down. I know my read. I know it versus all these coverages. And what throw do I like throwing the best versus this coverage? And instead of Marcus would be oh, no matter what you call, I'll make it work. Trying to be just very laid back like he was.
Team guy.
He didn't want to put anybody above himself. Instead of, hey, this is where I can be successful. This is what I really like and I see the best. Instead of having some gray looks, hey, Tannehill was a guy who he told you what he wanted. It was cut and dry. And if he didn't like it, he let you know. And I respected that from him. Sometimes, hey, you get some plays thrown out, you think that might work, but he wasn't comfortable with them, and he wanted to play best on Sundays also.
I mean, does a quarterback have to have a certain kind of disposition to do that as a rookie? And it feels like Cam Ward would be tailor-made for that type of conversation. But as a rookie, I wonder how much more difficult that is to do, be that commanding to your head coach as a quarterback.
Right. I think it's going to come down to a little trust factor, and, hey, if he's not seeing it well in 7-on-7 and team periods throughout the week, he might say, hey, let's keep working this and let's push it the next week. I'm really confident in seeing these combinations, these route trees together, and he's just got to be honest. Hey, I'm not going to the more he's vocal, the more he's able to do that because, yes, he doesn't know everything in the NFL yet. It's going to be a learning curve for him because he's going to see defenses every week that he hasn't seen before in practice. And that's the thing, like, hey, he's going to give him the stuff that he knows well and he's comfortable with, and it works versus multiple coverages and defenses.
He's played like a third of the normal snaps that you might play in any given game in 2 preseason games. He's had 25 total. He's had 3 and outs and 2 drives that look like they might have some juice. 1 touchdown drive where they were able to hand it off to Tony on a 1 after they did good work between him and Calvin to get him there. So, you try not to jump to too many conclusions and understanding that they're not showing us what they're going to be doing in the regular season while we're watching preseason action. Like, how have you watched Cameron Ward, and how have you kind of consumed that at this point?
Yeah, you want to see he can make all the throws. He's a leader in and out the huddle, and that's what fans got to know. It's not going to be perfect right away. He's going to have some throws. He's going to make some bad choices on things. We're not going to pick up every protection, and you got to learn that. He is your guy. He is a leader on this team. He conducts himself the right way, and he's the first pick for a reason. We didn't have a good team last year. Like, we have holes to fill and stuff like that. It's a learning curve. It's a thing that, yes, he's going to put us in situations to win games where last year we didn't. And I think we're going to be more competitive, and it's going to come down like, hey, how's his learning curve? How fast is it for him? Because he is a player, and I can't wait to see how he progresses this year.
Well, and the thing that just kind of sticks in the back of my craw with the preseason game is like that Van Jefferson play, okay? And like, I don't want to kill Van too much because he's had a good training camp. Like, it doesn't just come down to one play in a preseason game, but it could come down to one play in a 1-score game in those kind of situations, and that's the kind of thing that a rookie and number 1 overall pick is on when he's on a roster that is suboptimal as they're trying to work their way back up to a level of competitiveness. You know what I mean? So, like, what is fair criticism of a vet like that in real time? Like, what's the dialogue with you guys on a sideline after you miss a play like that? That could we don't know what happens on that drive if they end up making that play. But they would at least be pretty close to field goal distance if they were able to complete it.
For sure.
Right. We always say it's 3 to 5 plays in a game that win and lose you the game. That's one of the plays that could be a momentum boost for you, and that could definitely be a difference in the game. So you never know when those plays are going to be. Cameron made the throw right there. It was a heck of a play, and that should give some, hey, no matter who that receiver is in the past, your quarterback can throw the contested routes, and we just got to come down with those plays. Like, you only get so many opportunities, and we got to be able to catch balls.
We all three. We can't tell you what's happening, but if you're watching on some TV, all 3 of us, I think, had a reaction at the same exact time that might indicate that something potentially similar just happened.
Stop.
Practice.
Stop. May or may not have.
Cameron's a stud. That's all I'm going to say. He is the stud.
Okay, so like and you determine that based on how what you've seen in the games, but also like, have you seen much of his personality in these press conference settings?
Yeah, so I try to watch everyone because you want to see if he's a leader, because your quarterback's got to conduct himself a certain way in the locker room. He's doing all the right things. He's coming to work early. He's doing all the extra meetings, and when stuff happens, you get a little longer leash on that because, hey, he's willing to work. He's in here trying every day. If a guy's showing up where everybody else is, he's the first one out every day, guys get frustrated. Like, guys are going to go to the bat for him every day because they know how hard he works, and he's doing it the right way.
How much, Ben Jones hanging out with us at Titans practice, how much did you want to play in the preseason? By the time you are a veteran and you know your role in a team, like, what was the sweet spot for you?
Yeah, I wanted to feel good with my routine. Hey, I want to get out there. I want to warm up. I want to know how I'm supposed to feel for the game. Then if it's 2 series, a half, a quarter, like 1 series is not enough for me. I just literally got warmed up. All the meds in my system finally started working, especially when you're older. Like, young, you can play me as much as you want. By year 10 and 11, I'm like, hey, I want to get enough. I want to get a good sweat in. I want to waste an opportunity. Like, I want to feel it. A quarter or 3 drives, like, if you're going to play me, at least let me go out there and get some work in.
Because you see it all the time, starting offenses just get that 1 series in, and it could be 5 or 6 plays and then done.
Yeah, I want to work. If I'm gonna put on the uniform, if I'm gonna warm up, at least give me a quarter, even a half. Like, if not, don't play me at all.
Yeah, but you guys didn't do that under Vrabel.
Yeah, we got mainly our work in the joint practices, and we took all those snaps. And I think that's a great opportunity for guys because you're getting more reps, you're seeing different looks in practice, and it's controlled. And you take hits off your body in the game and let young guys put their film out there. So, because not everybody's going to make this roster. You want to give the rest of the 90 guys an opportunity to make a roster, and that's what it's all about. You want to get as much as your guys on another team if they can't make your team.
And I'm so curious to see what happens with them and the way that they've handled it, because like the CBA and how they go ahead determining, you know, how much actually padded work can guys do throughout the course of training camp into the regular season. But like Brian Callahan is not, I think, how anybody would describe a hard-nosed, hard-driving coach that way. But he's had their asses in pads basically for the better part of a month straight, Lucas. 2 joint training camp practices, 10 days on the road.
3 this week.
You guys never did that like long road trip type of thing.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, you had a couple of situations where the Patriots were on the back end of a long road trip like that, and then the Cardinals. But I think there also might have been a COVID situation with the Cardinals that caused them to go home early. The team camaraderie aspect of it. They've talked about this, Ben, as if they just threw a bunch of pieces and parts into a room last year and hoped to God that it worked.
Right.
And it didn't. So what is tangible? What is just stuff that's talked about without being able to like really see the dividends of it? How much does that stuff really matter?
When you're looking at this team, they got a really young roster. They don't have just a old team like you're looking at. When I got here in 16 and 17 with Malarkey, I was the oldest old lineman in year 5. We took every rep in practice. Yes, I was the old guy in year 5. So it was a different atmosphere. Like, we were able to practice harder. You were able to take more reps. This is what they got now. They got a younger roster, and you can go every day. You don't have to take care of veterans every day. You can handpick a couple veterans that, hey, you need a break. But other than that, this is the time to grind. If you're not in year 8 and above, you're supposed to be out here grinding. You got to earn your stripes. You need these reps in practice, and I think that's what's going to make this team better. Hey, you're able to play more reps together. You're able to practice harder, so games are easier.
We were doing stock up, stock down when you came up here, and I think we'd be remiss to not give a stock up to Cedric Gray for the way that he played on Friday. Ross, can we hear from Brian Callahan on Cedric Gray's performance, talking about the way the game is slowing down for him? This was from Callahan's presser on Saturday.
He's sure playing that way. He's diagnosing quicker. He's reacting faster. He's making plays in the backfield, which usually tells you that things are slowing down. He's seeing what he needs to see and reacting in the proper time. That blitz was an indicator of what Ced does. He just tries to run through a guy's face, which part of that you like to see. He did it in Tampa Bay in practice. He's an effective blitzer. He's hard for backs to block because of his physicality, and that's the type of tone we want to set defensively. So that was really a positive step for him, and to do it in a game, big sack. It's always good to see. He's played well, and I'm happy with where he's at, and he's got to keep going.
So he led the team in tackles for a second straight preseason game with 7 total. He ends up only getting half a sack. They gave half of that sack to Carlos Watkins.
They should.
But
There's
Cedric,
a bunch of dudes back there. Femi was back there, too.
But Cedric blew up the running back in pass protection and wrapped up Easton Stick. He had also the interception that was called back, which was just Easton Stick throwing it right between the 5 and the 1.
But he's not happy that interception got called back after we talked to him in the locker room.
But it's on tape, though, and he is refusing to go quietly in this battle for that spot next to Cody Barton.
I don't know what they're going to do just yet. I mean, I don't think they know what they're going to do just yet as far as the starting off-ball linebackers. And but Barton's just such a stabilizing force, Ben, for that defense. And I know he's still a kind of younger player. I think he's only 28 at this point in his career, but he's been around for so long. He's seen so many different things. And I think that they tried something like that with Kenneth Murray, somebody who's been around the league and had draft pedigree to kind of settle in a young group. It didn't quite take the way that they wanted it to. But Barton seems like he's paid dividends for, not to make it about Cody Barton. Obviously, Cedric Gray and James Williams are earning their opportunities, and you see that out at practice and also when fans get the opportunity to watch preseason games. But just how important is it to have those stabilizing forces in the middle of the defense? Because you're seeing those guys every day in practice. You're seeing the way they communicate. They know what you guys are going to do. You may know what they're going to do, but it seems like it's been a good dynamic back and forth.
Yeah, you need some veteran leaders in certain spots on your defense. You always need one on your D-line. It's your captain of your defense needs to be right there in the middle every time. And the good defenses always have that linebacker who can make every call, make every check. It doesn't have to come from a safety position where it's had to come in the past couple years.
Byer did a little bit of that, right?
Kevin did it. You have Hooker doing it. Like, it is really nice for a defense where the guy right in the middle can relay the message to the guy behind him and the guy in front of him. When you have that guy in the middle who can make those calls, make those checks, everything runs smoother.
How quickly do you pick up on a defense when things aren't in order that way, when you guys are seeing some of the different looks that they're presenting, or may notice a guy out of space based on what you've seen on tape or what they're showing you on the field?
Right. When you got a defense that's just standing there and not communicating, not turning to your left and your right, turning around and making sure the DBs are on the same page, when you're communicating on defense, because it's constant, shifts, motions, checks, everything is changing for them all the time. So if you don't have a defense that can communicate and pass, hey, it should be no secrets over there. They should know everything. Hey, if it's a short motion, if it's a long motion, hey, it's this formation, hey, alert run. Like, you got to be the eyes, the ears, and everything for the guys with your hands in the dirt that make all the plays for you. Like, and that is a linebacker's job, is to make everybody around him better.
You and Lloyd Cushenberry are the same agent, right?
We do, me and Lloyd.
How have you talked to him much? Well, he's had a layoff. Not that, you don't have to share anything you don't want or not comfortable sharing, but I'm just curious if you guys have had any conversations while he's been recouping this way.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I love him to death. He's a hard worker. He caught the injury bug the past year, and that's hard to see because he was so healthy in Denver. He was the guy that you could look at every week that he was going to be there on that roster for him. And it's frustrating for a guy who's been that guy. He's never really had to deal with injuries. And now to see him getting close to being ready to being back out in the field for the season coming back, and he's having to come with the first time like, hey, this is a major injury coming off of. Hey, how do I pace myself? How do I not just get thrown in there?
Right.
And not, this is a long season. So we've had those talks. We've talked about how to be a leader in that room, how to transition from another team to another, like I did from coming to Houston to here, because you got to win over the locker room. Like, hey, it's not all about what you say. And that's what Lloyd does best. He comes to work every day.
Now, wait a damn minute. Who the hell are you to tell anybody not to go too hard in practice coming off injury?
I didn't miss. I don't know what you're talking about. I never had an injury, Buck.
Mother bleeper, you had a collarbone sticking out the back of your neck, if I remember correctly, during one game.
It's the difference of being hurt and injured.
Saying mother bleeper on the air just doesn't quite have the same effect.
I can't say what I want to say to him because I know he's full of it.
What do you make of the Jeffrey Simmons discussion this offseason? We had J.C. Latham on the show a couple weeks ago, and he talked about the first time he had to face Jeff lining up on the end, and maybe trying to make up some of what they don't have in terms of pass rush personnel with Jeffrey Simmons coming off the edge a little bit more. Like, what do you kind of make of that whole discussion as Jeff is slimmed down and trying to get back to a high-level productive season?
Oh, boy.
Can't say it yet.
Speaking of.
Hey there, bud.
When you're playing against Jeffrey Simmons, you got to know where he's at all times. So if he's not going to line up in the exact same spot every time,
get the quarterback out of there.
It makes you really look back and be like, hey, when we were playing the J.J. Watts that could line up anywhere, like, you had to have a game plan for the protections and run games. Are we going to check on him these plays? Or are we going to slide to him? Or are we going to chip? So knowing Jeff's not going to be lining up to the back or at a 3 technique every time, it sets your defense up for more one-on-one matchups with Jeff.
We're hanging out here at Titans training camp practice. Ben Jones has done his duty and much more, as he is going to hang out with us during a football season, make us smarter about the things that we see on Sundays and bring it to the radio show on Mondays. Benny, I appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely.
That's the main
Thanks,
man,
Ben.
Ben Jones. Practice continues. We can't tell you what just happened, but we will at the end of practice. Johnny Hecker and Brett Kern will be up here. A little special teams crosstalk on a Monday, too. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. As a veteran, Trajan Wealth CEO Jeff Jr. fully appreciates the importance of true independence. He founded Trajan Wealth as an independent firm, allowing fiduciary advisors the ability to customize a portfolio to meet your unique goals and needs. Call Trajan Wealth to discuss options for achieving financial independence today, because if you're not feeling the sizzle with your current financial advisor, Trajan Wealth can give you a path that's going to make you more comfortable for your level of risk tolerance and for your specific financial needs. And we all know how disruptive independence or financial independence or lack of financial independence can be. If you're somebody who has experienced that or is currently going through it, you don't want to have that stress in your life. So Trajan Wealth is here to help you. 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin. The number is 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Brett Kern is going to be up here in a little bit. He's going to join us, take in or give his observations on how the preseason game went. Lucas is down on the Titans special teams unit, or at least that was one of his stock down candidates today.
Some stuff to clean up from Friday, I would imagine. Hecker and Bones Fossil would agree.
So we are nearing the end of practice. The final whistle has not been blown, but we will probably within this segment be able to tell you what's been going on here this afternoon in some level of detail. It's not an open practice as it has been in the last couple of weeks when we've been out here because there are no more fan practices as far as I know, and so the reporting rules are different when fans are in attendance versus when it's just media and the football team. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in at any point, you are welcome to do so. Questions, comments, observations, concerns coming out of preseason game number 2. Where did you see, or where do you think you saw players take a step forward or potentially a step back? Depending on who you're talking to, I thought it was a better day. They did give up an explosive run for a touchdown on run defense, but so you don't want to gloss over anything out there, but I did think it was a more sound, technically, performance from the run defense, even if you don't want to make it an outright stock up,
You know how sometimes you get so hungry that you almost feel nauseous?
Yes.
That's how I am right now. Yeah, it was a much better day for the run defense on Friday.
What does that have to do with the preseason game?
Nothing. They gave up
Kirby's got snacks.
178 rush yards in that game against Tampa.
Yes.
I'm trying to frantically pull out my notes because at halftime, that number was so much better. So they gave up
33 at half,
33 rush yards
at
halftime from the Falcons. The Falcons had 104 net yards on 33 plays in the first half. So that's an average of just 3 yards per play. The defensive performance was night and day. And, the asterisk is there. It was Falcons backups, and it was also Bucs backups the other week in preseason week 1. So far better day for the defense and a much better day for, I think, a better day for cornerback depth. Because I think Marcus Harris showed some good things, and Kendall Brooks, obviously, with the pick 6, as it feels like that is so wide open right now to find some guys that can just give you some good snaps behind Jarvis Brownlee and a potentially healthy L'Jarius Sneed.
Well, now, Kendall Brooks is safety.
The defensive backfield, then.
Yeah, but he's trying to, and that's an interesting conversation too, right? Until Kevin Winston comes back at practice, and it sounds like we're close to that at this point as they try to manage the situation. Practice is officially over for the day. The players are taking a knee on the field, which means that we have our Big J Journo, who's been taking in all his practice insights and observations. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Come on over here.
No.
Wait, you didn't bring your notebook? What did we send you down there for? We've just had high-level analysis from Ben Jones. Brett Kern is getting ready to sit in with us and talk a little special teams. I think, Brett, did I tell you Johnny Hecker's coming up here with us?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now you have.
Didn't do that. Also didn't tell Brett that we were at practice today.
Great job by you.
He texted me because he's listening to the radio show and said, "Are you guys at camp?" I said, "Yes." Yeah, I know it, bud.
We need a name for Robert the reporter, or maybe I just
Robbie the reporter
came up with it there.
Rob the reporter Rob.
All of those sound terrible.
What you got?
I'm glad you brought up Marcus Harris because I have not noticed him running with the first team a lot, but it seemed like he got an extended trial on the outside today and fared pretty well. I mean, he didn't go up against Calvin Ridley or anything. He was covering Mason Kinsey for most of it, but he didn't look like a total scrub nobody out there.
Mm-hmm.
Their cornerback depth is suspect, so they're definitely trying some things.
I mean, and it would make a lot of sense for them to do so and try a bunch of different people out in different spots. I kind of charted, and these notes are going to be awful reading back through them because you're trying to keep up. You're trying to make sure you don't miss the
not
next
so
thing.
easy now, is it?
Can you read them verbatim?
Oh, verbatim is really not that bad because my trick is when they tries to change people's names. Like my phone does not like Draymond. It's like, nope, that's not a word.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you mean Dramontius?
Yeah,
it's like,
I would like for you to read them verbatim with autocorrect.
Thank God Levis isn't the starting quarterback anymore because Levi's is just the worst.
I don't have to
time.
deal with that. So just for my own edification about the rules, am I allowed to divulge these notes?
Let me see your notes before we do that.
I don't have anything about formations or type of plays. I just have
there's nothing here, I think, that would get you popped.
or anything of substance.
Or, yes. I would not be able to determine meaning from this, but I suppose I will let you give your best effort.
I did do a stock up, stock down in honor
During
of
practice.
In honor of you guys doing it. Yeah, just for who had a good day, who what I noticed. I have to give my stock ups first because this really bugs me. Why is
the
James
war criminal?
Talk about it. Say it. Say his name.
James Prochet had a good practice. Yet again, good hands catches, which is not something I could say for Bryce Oliver or some of the younger receivers. It feels like a lot of these younger receivers are catching with their body, are not safely catching it away from them, and you saw that result in a lot of pass deflections today. A lot of cornerbacks were able to get their hand in to deflect the ball, which is also something of note because that's what the wide receivers were warming up in drills with, was a contested catch opportunity. They have that big, long red arm, look like Clifford's tail, trying to come in at the catch point. So a little troublesome. I would like to ask the coaching staff about that and be like, is it hard for you guys to prep, work with a drill about, okay, these are the contested catches, and then in practice you see none of the things translate. I thought that was
it was a really good breakup in the back of the end zone, by the way, by Jarvis Brownlee on Alec Iamander.
And you heard the frustration out of Alec on that, where it's like he hadn't been targeted in that 11-on-11 or the session prior. So that was his only shot he had, and he dropped it. Or
Defense.
I guess very much won.
I was going to say winners, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they looked 11-on-11. It didn't even seem like that the offense looked particularly sharp. Like either Cam was off, like the throw had a little bit too much on it. There was a throw to Calvin Ridley where Calvin kind of stacked the defender where he had open access to catch the ball, but the ball was just a little too high. Just a minor miscommunications. I wouldn't say that the offense was bad. They just weren't humming. It wasn't like they had a good connection. I'll give you another stock down. Xavier Restrepo, he can't get to the spot. I noticed it 2 or 3 times today where it's like he can't get to his spot where the quarterback is like, Brandon Allen put a seed on him.
He's so slow.
And he just wasn't there. He just couldn't get there. Like somebody that would be watching it flatly might say like, oh, that was a bad throw. That wasn't even where we could get it. No, he was supposed to be there. He just couldn't make it.
Well, so. And I think, and I like that you pointed out that way because like quarterbacks are throwing to a spot in a lot of these situations. Like the ball is coming out before the receiver gets into their break half the time. Like that's the anticipatory throwing that you talk about that way. And if the receiver is not quick enough to get to his spot as the quarterback lets the ball go, then it's going to look like the quarterback made a bad read or a bad pass or something like that, when in reality the failure was on the receiver.
Yeah, so which is what we were talking about with that Van Jefferson drop and the difference on if it was Restrepo running that route versus Van Jefferson.
I feel like because people are asking so much about Restrepo, we are giving so much commentary on Restrepo that it sounds like we're like actively going out of our way. But guys, I mean, you got to understand, he's 8th or 9th or 10th on the depth chart for a reason, depending on what position. I mean, I know he's a slot primarily, or that's where they would try and have him. God knows you couldn't put him out on the outside and expect him to win that way. But it's just I feel like I have to say it. I have to couch it by saying, no, we're not actively dumping on this kid because we understand he's just trying to make an NFL roster, and that's admirable. And God knows he works hard enough, and he's got the right attitude. But there are physical limitations that he has.
And like what we can't do is bash Titans fans for wanting Restrepo to make the team. Like,
I mean, I can.
But like
you can, but I mean, it's like fussing at a kid for being like, I didn't get what I wanted for Christmas. Like that's what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? They're like, and not disparaging, like that's what they're gonna do. Like I'm a fan too of like certain things. You know what I mean? So it's like I wish this guy could make this roster, or like I understand being in that position and being like, oh, this is a good story. I want to root for this.
Yeah, like
there's a difference in that and seeing the roster schematics and just being like, look, the math is not mathing. There's no way they can keep everybody.
I mean, he's close friends with the quarterback, had a great connection with him in college, and is a record holder in multiple categories at Miami with all of the receivers that have come through there. Of course fans see that stuff and say, oh, yeah, this UDFA will make the team, and root for him to make the team.
But it's all they see.
But, yeah.
They don't see everything else out here.
The reality is right now, it would be – and he's not even in the punt return mix. Like
I don't even think he got a rep today trying to pull him.
He hasn't gotten – I don't think he's gotten a return in during the preseason, and we've talked about that as his only legitimate path to make this initial roster. Right now, he's a practice squad guy, and that's okay.
And I think the benefit of the positivity of that side is if he is a practice squad guy, good. That means you get to keep him because the converse of this is that he is not good enough to be on the roster, but also too good to be on a practice squad, and someone would claim him. He hasn't done anything in these preseason games unless someone just had an outstanding evaluation of pre-draft, but they didn't because he didn't get drafted. Yeah. So the benefit is you will probably get to keep him on your practice squad. Right now, I couldn't see someone else claiming him off waivers to be like, yep, I want that guy on my 53.
Real quick, good to see Lloyd Cushenberry getting limited team reps. And what'd you see on the Jeffrey Simmons mini scuffle
at
the end of practice?
I thought it was nice because Joey Chestnut God, I did it again. Julius Chestnut had a nice little run to the boundary,
okay,
went untouched for the touchdown.
Calling Tajay Spears Tajay Sharp for 2 years.
And it a little bit of chirping went back and forth, like, run that back. So they ran it back. And when they did run it back, Calvin Ridley caught a nice ball, a deep out in the corner of the end zone, and they came back and made sure to let them know that, hey, we ran it back, the thing that you asked for. And I think that there was a little too much chirping. Jeff's back was turned.
What did the quarterback do?
He came right back to Jeff and was like, hey.
And also did
his celly.
The zombie land celebration.
Throw a flag on it,
yeah.
Which Jeff didn't like. And I think there were things behind his back going on. I don't want to put him in a light where it was like, oh, yeah, Jeff just come out and touch his cane. Like, I don't want to say that. I think there was a situation where competition was high and they were chirping back.
And the quarterback instigated.
Yes. I don't.
Fine by me.
Jeff is not completely blameless in this happenstance.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, a fun happenstance at practice. Like, when we were wrestling in high school at practice and things like this happen, dudes get mad.
I'm not pointing for you. I'm pointing for Ben and Brett, who Talk and Joey are trying to get your attention, boys, down on the field. I don't know if they see that yet or not.
But something like that happens. A drill gets a little too rugged. You end up brawling a little bit, and I think everybody's closer after that. You have an understanding about how people practice. That's what keeps people sharp. I think that's something good. I don't think that should be made into, you're two stars on both sides of the field fighting each other.
Well, yeah, but also Cameron is in the middle of that.
Right.
Get the hell out of there, because I saw his jersey askew after the fact. He's getting torn at and pulled at and all that.
We need to have a name for that fan voice that you just did, like Bobby in Red Boiling Springs or something.
Blood Boiling Springs.
Not a real place.
It is absolutely a real place. How long have you lived here for?
Come on,
almost a decade.
That's not fair.
He doesn't come out of his little circle.
No, I don't leave Davidson County. Are you kidding me? Anyway, that was not bad. You could have done worse.
I could have done a lot better, too.
Well, that's why we have Brett Kern. So, Brett's hanging out up here with us on the SeatGeek Terrace. Johnny Hecker will join us after he concludes his post-practice routine. We'll have some special teams crosstalk, get Brett's reaction to the preseason game performance. Live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, a loaded show on 104.5 The Zone.
It is 12:02. Good afternoon. Broadcasting live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. I'm Lucas Panzica. Practice is over. The Titans are off the field to kick off the final week of the preseason. Friday night, the Titans won in Atlanta 23-20. Cam Ward got 3 series in with the ones, finishing 2 of 7 for 42 yards. Ward spoke after the game about the operation.
I think we're pretty good in terms of just operation-wise, getting in and out of the huddle, make sure guys are communicating at a high level. I think the biggest thing that we got to build from is just not starting backed up, and then also not, shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties or just unnecessary stuff that we don't need.
The rookie stood out in the receiving portion. Gunnar Helm, 4 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. Alec Iamaner with 2 catches for 47 yards. Titans made a transaction yesterday releasing defensive lineman Philip Bleedy. Today they signed defensive tackle TJ Smith. In other NFL news, the Cleveland Browns are naming Joe Flacco as their Week 1 starting quarterback against the Cincinnati Bengals, according to Adam Schefter. And in Knoxville, the Tennessee Vols have named Joey Aguilar the starting quarterback. The App State and then UCLA transfer will be under center next Saturday when Tennessee opens the season against Syracuse in Atlanta. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It's the final hour here at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Titans practice has concluded for the day. Show is not yet over because Brett Kern is with us, as he will be on Mondays. We found the one day that you and Ben Jones and I assume Suckup aren't playing golf at this point in time. So we're happy to have Brett a part of the show and are looking forward to his insights and analysis. Johnny Hecker is going to join us up here as well. Little punter crosstalk for the audience. I'm fired up. Hey, bud.
Some serious puntese language going to be talked.
Puntese.
Puntese.
Is that a thing?
It is now.
We're about to make it a thing.
About to make it a thing.
Oh, my goodness. 615-737-1045 is the number. It's fun getting to see you guys like when we're out here and you and Ben and get to come back and interact with people that you've known on staff for, 100 years in your case, certainly. And Ben Jones, who are still on staff, because, Brett, it's a lot of changes around here in the last couple of years, but there's still some people holding strong. Like John Takahashi is one of the people who Titans fans will have no idea who he is, and he is as institutional a part of this place as anybody. So you were exchanging some pleasantries from the SeatGeek balcony with people down on the field, and I'm sure that's fun for you guys to get to see them and still see people who you recognize after a couple of years.
Yeah, it's great. To see Tak and Joey Branco, and especially to see, especially Joey. I remember when I first got here in 2009, I think he was Haas's assistant to the assistant, and now he's the head equipment manager. And talk about a tough job that he had over that road trip. That's a lot of laundry. That's a lot of equipment to move. That's tough. But to see guys like that and, Tak, he stretched me out before every practice for a good, 10 years until I finally realized that I could do it myself. So he's a gem, and I'm glad when I can come back here and see some faces that I've seen for a long time. And obviously there's a lot of new faces. That's just a part of the NFL. It's part of the business, whether it's management changing over, especially roster changing over. It's 30-40% every year that roster's getting switched.
I have a logistical / operations question for these long road trips. Like you guys went to the West Coast under Malarkey.
Yep.
An infamous
0-2 trip.
A lot of stories from that. It was Cardinals and Niners, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we started in Arizona, played the Cardinals, and then we stayed in Arizona, practiced that whole week, and then Saturday we took a plane to San Francisco and lost that game as well to, I believe, Blaine Gabbert.
That's right. I was just going to say, was Gabbert a Cardinal or a Niner at that time? Because
probably
he played
both. We probably played him back-to-back weeks for all I know.
He got traded a week ago.
Got traded. Hey, San Francisco saw what he did against us against Arizona and picked him up. And
we want some of that.
Yeah. Titans legend Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine, watch Daddy sling it Gabbert.
Oh, God.
But my question is, you mentioned all the laundry that has to be done. Do players for those 9-10+ day road trips, bring enough clothes for 10 days, or do you get the option to do laundry and just bring enough clothes that you can wear it and then wash your clothes and then wear it again?
Yeah, I definitely, when we went out to Arizona and the California trip, I brought enough to make sure. It's you're not really quite sure. The laundry, a lot of it just gets dumped in there. It's not like you can wash it on delicates or, you get your warm or your cold cycle. Everything is thrown in there and it is washed. So, some guys, they obviously bring enough. Some guys bring way more than is needed based on the size of their suitcase that they bring. But I always made sure to bring just enough for the trip.
Also, quick NFL headline here. Joe Flacco's been named the starter in Cleveland. Mike Garafolo of NFL Network saying Joe Flacco never really got pushed.
Yeah, man.
The clear QB1 for the Browns all the way through the summer. They play the Bengals week
Shocker.
1.
I mean, completely as expected. But, did you guys see the Dylan Gabriel thing he had to walk back after the preseason game?
Yeah, I hated that. Basically, just a quote from Gabriel with no context. The question wasn't in the video that the NFL account put out of him talking about there's competitors and there's entertainers, and everybody took it to mean he's, throwing shade at Shedeur Sanders when the question was about Shedeur, and the entire quarterback room shutting out noise. And so it wasn't that at all, but that's what people were making of it. The whole thing has just – and then Shedeur got hurt last week, so there's just been this string of quarterback injuries. Amazingly, 40-year-old Joe Flacco, I think he did pick up a knock, though, didn't he? Wasn't he dealing with something earlier in camp?
Probably. I mean, we're the same age. We were the same draft class.
Well, isn't it just setting up
That's
for –
crazy.
That's crazy.
They are tied. Robert gave me this 2 years ago. What was it, 5 quarterbacks that the Browns started 2 years ago that ties the NFL record in one season?
Yeah.
And the irony of it is that there's no team that's more likely to match or break that this year than the Browns. It just feels like this is setting up for just a revolving door.
And it's hard, too, because you got Watson on the bench, not even going to play this year, and he's, $40, $50 million this year.
$260 million man.
Street clothes.
Let me say this, though, because Gabriel did clarify or walk his comments back in the post-game press conference with Browns media, and the quote was, some people are entertainers, I'm a competitor, and what he clarified was, because people took it to mean Shedeur after the game or in the in-game interview, then afterwards, he clarified by saying, well, I was talking about the media trying to make an entertainment situation out of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to compete. I don't know, Brett. I don't want to be too suspicious or skeptical because I'm not there and I don't know Dylan Gabriel from anyone, so other than being at the combine and going to his podium to ask him a couple of questions and things like that. But it just doesn't. I don't know. That line to me struck a chord. Like, you got to know better if you're a third-round rookie to say things that would even remotely implicate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people like me are going to, not try and take it out of context unnecessarily, but what else are people to assume that he's talking about Shedeur,
Right, yeah, because that quote is now all over everywhere. And that's what, the media can do. Not everybody's like that in the media, obviously, but it's obviously clickbait, and it worked. But you can, here's the thing, too, like, when you're playing in the NFL, everybody's an entertainer. Everybody comes into that stadium. They're paying, to watch, to perform. And so everybody that puts on that uniform on Sunday, you are an entertainer, right? And you can be both. Obviously, you can be an entertainer in what you do, how you do it, but also you're a competitor too. And I think the Browns organization is probably pretty glad they don't have Hard Knocks this year. Because that would be.
Could it be any worse than Baker's rookie year with Hugh Jackson publicly getting undermined by Craig Williams and Todd Haley? That was, the Browns, man.
I'll be curious to see when. Obviously, Cleveland. I think we all knew that Joe was going to be the starting quarterback, but I think just kind of waiting to see what Indy does between Richardson and Daniel Jones, because that's obviously within the division. You're going to see him twice, and it's pretty interesting. This is something for Richardson in his career, right? He's the guy. He was the first round draft pick for them, and to have somebody come in like Daniel Jones and potentially take a spot is going to be pretty tough. So
Jones was better on Saturday, 7 of 11, 101 yards, a 93.4 rating. Richardson came in and went 6 of 11 for 73 yards.
Yeah, that's hard to judge, though. You're watching the Titans game, right? And it's, you kind of, I watched the first half twice, right? Because that's starters. a couple guys that are going to be backups, right? And then you get to the second half, and that's more about, okay, who's balling out, who's performing, because really second half guys, yeah, they could make the 53, and like we were talking about, I think last week, it's really the 48. If you find yourself between 48 and 53, and you're not dressing, then it becomes, if you start having injury problems, you're going to be the first guy to go. And so, watching the second half, it's more about, all right, who's balling out? Because really some of these guys are fighting for practice squad jobs and maybe even jobs, with other teams too.
We're going to have Johnny Hecker come up here and join us after practice. Practice is concluded now, and we'll get a little special teams crosstalk going. But just quickly before Johnny gets up here, Brett, and I don't want to squeeze, that analysis into a couple of minutes here before we go to break, but I wonder what you made of the operation of things offensively, where you saw how they tried to go out and give him a third series. After the second series was a 3-and-out, you had an unfortunate drop by Van Jefferson on the first drive that could have, maybe it leads to points, maybe it doesn't, but did rob them of that opportunity. Just general observations from what you saw from what of the first team offense was out there.
Yeah, I thought they looked good. It looked like, really, Cam only had 12 plays. Right. If 11 of them counted because of the penalty on Mullings, so really there was only 11, and 8 of them were throws. And so I think there is it seemed to me, and you'd have to ask, the coach, Brian, as far as, was there an effort just to have Cam just throw the ball? Because there's a 32 situation that you're thinking, oh yeah, this is a run, no problem, and then they throw kind of like that deep out route to Iomanner, right? Yeah. And so it just looked like there was an effort, knowing that Cam's only going to get 3 series. Okay, hey, we just want you to chuck it. Like, we want to see what this looks like. And I think what I saw most about Cam, which is good, is that you're going to look at his stats and say, oh, he's only 2 for 7. That's not very good. But I look at where he's placing the ball, and it's not going to be in harm's way, right? He had the deep throw to Iomanner that was it was outside and over his head. The DB's not going to get that. There was another one where DK just kind of ran a little route right at the sticks right in the middle, and there was, I think the backer slid back, safety maybe came up. There's 2 guys right there, and where did he throw it? He threw it low and left. Well, the only guy that's going to be able to catch that is DK, right? And so I look at those situations. We were talking about turnovers and how important it is, with turnovers as far as the big 3 goes. And, if he's going to put the ball there where he's really only allowing his receivers the opportunity to get it, now it's just up to the receivers being able to go make those catches.
And that's the difference when people talk about, like, I think fans have a tendency to just lump accuracy or a bunch of different things under accuracy. But what you're bringing up is ball placement. Like,
ball placement,
the only place where the receiver can get the ball, where the quarterback has to be that kind of fine-tuned, that kind of specific. And Joe Burrow is famous for that kind of quality, that kind of trait. Not to get into comparisons thing.
We don't like comparisons. We're not created equal, so we can't compare each other.
If you
equally.
had to compare Johnny Hecker to any other punter.
But I just think that, like, that kind of specificity and what you guys know that the fans might not otherwise consider, I think that's important to keep in mind when people are watching these preseason games.
Yeah,
or games generally.
It comes down to, like I said, the turnovers, right? The turnovers. You look at the Titans lost the turnover battle, but not all turnovers are created equally, right? Our turnover that the Titans get is a pick 6. Their 2 turnovers that they get, they only got 2 field goals out of them, right? And Joey Slye missed the extra point. That kind of stinks, but on sudden change like that, sometimes that can happen. And so, in essence, the 2 turnovers that the Titans gave away, they got 6 points. The one that we got for pick 6 was 6 points. So, I think it's important that how Cam's throwing it, where he's placing the ball for his receivers to be the only ones to get it. If you can limit those turnovers, we talked about it. Like, if you're top 15 in the turnover margin, like the Bills led the way at plus 24, that's insane. Josh Allen had 6 picks last year, plus 24. If you're top 15 in that turnover margin, you have like an 83% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're in the bottom 5 of the turnover margin, like Browns were minus 22, Titans minus 16, right? You have an 80% chance to have a top 10 pick in the draft the next year. It's crazy. So I think turnovers are huge, and obviously Cam, the way he's throwing it, where he's throwing it, how he's throwing it, and his placement is going to be a huge indicator as far as the offense goes, with turnovers.
Field position battle, hidden yardage, many things. Are
But
you excited?
it comes in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, even look at last year. They were minus 20 in the sacks, right? They gave up way more than what they did. And so you look at minus, what do you think an average sack is? 8 yards maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's 160 yards, right? I think it's just little things. Even, watching the game and seeing on special teams, back-to-back kickoff returns, 2 holding penalties, and 3 really, but Mason's was declined. That's 3 penalties, 2 of them that were accepted, and now instead of you starting on the 25, 30-yard line, now they start at the 13. It's stuff like that that's, you look at what Atlanta had. They had a punt return, took it out past midfield, holding penalties, started on the 30. They had a couple more penalties on that drive. Next thing you know, Bradley Pinion's punting from the 19-yard line. So I think last year penalties were just a lot of pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
And I saw them, in the game on Friday night, just some pre-snap penalties that, took them out of certain calls that I'm sure Brian was looking forward to making certain calls on, certain plays, 2nd and 8, and also in 2nd and 13, that takes you in a different part of the playbook. So penalties and turnover, I mean, there's just a lot, obviously, from last year, but penalties, turnovers are huge.
Well, the ripple effect of that is something that we're going to talk about, and we're going to test out your interview in Chops, bud.
Oh, boy.
Johnny Hecker's going to join us coming up next, live from Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. ED can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. First in Midtown, before it was even called Midtown. Then in Cool Springs, and now in Clarksville. No matter where you are in Middle Tennessee, expert care is close by. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. Pay attention, Robert. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation, and no one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, depending on what Bert's dealing with on any given day, or performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Got a couple of the best punters hanging out here with us. Brett Kern, guest co-hosting as he is doing on Mondays and Fridays with us, and Johnny Hecker, kind enough to stop by after practice. Good to have you on, bub.
Buck, it's a real honor. I'm glad to be here between you and Brett here. This is a great place to be. Loving the shade.
An honor.
QB1 in the house. QB1 in the house.
It's not an honor to be on this show, just to clarify. You don't have to say that, but it is appreciated.
Brett is really, this is his charity. We're a write-off for him.
It's a great way to spend time. Get up here, watch the action. Great vantage point. I haven't been up here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so you mentioned QB1. What
QB1.
may not the audience know about Johnny Hecker?
Well, I know, so Oregon State recruited as a
quarterback initially. Yeah.
Yep. And then how did you transition to punting?
So they ended up not offering me. They offered a kid that was coming in the winter, Ryan Katz, great quarterback. He was polished. Got him in, then he commits. I get a call from the special teams coach. I said, "Oh wow, he must be recruiting my area." And they're like, "No, actually, we saw your. I put together a highlight tape, sent it out to all these colleges, and my high school coach said,
recruiting my area."
Yeah, he said, throw your punting stats throw your punts at the very end. Threw them in there, and then got a call back. He said, "Hey, we have an open competition for the punter, and if you want to come earn a scholarship, that's going to be the shortest line." So I said, "All right, let's do that."
Dude, that's awesome. And so you're at Oregon State, and then undrafted to St. Louis.
Yeah.
And then with Greg the Leg.
Yeah.
And your man Bones was there. So how was your relationship with Bones?
Incredible. Yeah, so I was just telling someone the other day, he was the only special teams coach to come to my pro day. So it was just me, him, and our long snapper out on the field, just a little private workout, running up and down. A bunch of people with clipboards hanging out. But, he was just there to see me and work me out, and we had a great time. Had me throw some balls, throw some comebacks and everything. And Coach Fisher had tasked him with going to find someone that could throw the ball around a little bit and kind of check those boxes off, and he brought me in to compete, and I couldn't be more thankful for that kind of vote of confidence bringing me to St. Louis and getting my foot in the door, because I wouldn't be there without him, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, all football coaches have some degree of unhinged about them, but Fossil seems like he's a pretty unique kind of guy. Like what Titans fans obviously are excited about the proposition of you guys coming in here, and it doesn't necessarily matter for you guys what happened before, but the special team situation is something that needed course correction. What do Titans fans need to know about the approach that he's now integrating in this building?
He cares deeply about his guys, and it's very evident in the way he coaches everyone one-on-one. You're going to get the same attention whether you're the fourth string right wing on punt or the starting center on kickoff return. He's going to watch your tape intently and give you every advantage and every technique that he knows and he sees across the league to help you succeed. He's all about one-on-ones. He'll do some X's and O's, some scheming up and things, but he's really about, okay, let's have our guys match up with their good guys, and let's see how this all plays out. So he puts us in great positions, and everyone feels confident when they take the field. So we're going to play together. Going to be a bunch of parties in the pile and having a good time.
He's known to pull out the trick plays, John Bones Fossil, and he did that with you in St. Louis and in L.A.
Yep.
I'm curious, as a former quarterback, do you have any idea what your stat line is throwing the football in your NFL career off the top of your head? What would you guess? Completions, attempts, and yards?
All I know is that it should be a lot better. There are a lot of throws that I have out there that I want back. Attempts, I think I'm over 20.
You're over, yeah.
I'm over 20, I'm over 100 yards. And I know I have one touchdown. That's all I got.
One tutter.
15 of 26 for 193 yards and a touchdown, and only one interception in 26 attempts. You have not completed a pass since 2023, so I feel like you're due.
I'm due. I'm ready. The arm is feeling as good as it ever has, so I'm ready to
Don't divulge any state secrets before the season.
That's all right.
Lucas, you trying to get him to narc?
What was your favorite fake? Because I remember watching film, and a lot of times, and it was crazy to me because the jammer would play off.
Right.
And then it seemed like, and he had poor leverage, and it just seemed like it was a simple hitch route. You threw a lot of those. But what was your favorite fake, your best throw?
My best throw, I had one against Green Bay.
In Green Bay?
In Green Bay.
Even more impressive.
That matters.
Yeah.
That matters.
In Green Bay, I'm supposed to throw an out over here. No, I was supposed to throw to the PP going out to the flat. He gets hemmed up, so I'm rolling right. And Jordy Nelson is chasing me down. And I felt like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm moving. And I'm rolling to the right, and our wing just stops and throws his hand up back to the middle of the field. So I'm running. As I'm getting tackled, I throw the ball back late across the middle, and Cody Davis kind of lays out and makes a catch for a first down. It was It was pretty cool.
See, that's the skill set that Johnny has. Like, it's not just one route on a fake punt. It's route concepts that he's able to pull off.
And it's the beauty of special teams with Jordy Nelson being the one bearing down on you.
Yeah, it was scary. He's a lot faster than I am. That was proof right there.
So I know, like, 2016, 2017, you know, with you being in L.A. And St. Louis, you're going against guys like Tyler Lockett in his prime, Patrick Peterson, the returners that, you know, kind of that mid-2000 teens that we kind of had to go against with Sproles, you know, there was
young
a ton of
Cordero.
them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was a ton of them. So you and Sam Cook kind of really changed the punting game, right? In the, you know, I call them the junk balls, right? The tools in your tool bag.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners kind of what some of those are and, like, when you would use them?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it just plays off of where the returner is going to start playing you. You know, I think a lot of that stuff is built off of having a dominant right directional ball. You know, a ball that you can put consistently outside the numbers going right, so the returner feels pinned over there. You know, he's got to run sideways to go get to it. And so they start playing you at the hash, maybe the hash numbers, you know, a little void there, and then that's when you can really drop the ball inside and then yank it away from them, just kind of playing keep away. Just having those different tools, right? You know, I can show right, I can kick right, and I can kick left. I can kick left, or I can, if going in situation, hit the little cut ball back and spin it away from them to the right. And so you just got to have a lot of things to keep the dangerous returners, keep the ball out of their hands, or at least just keep them second guessing. Do I want to return this ball, or do I want to fair catch it?
God, that would have people in a total blender, just like, you know, as a normie over here thinking about what it is to field a punt. Hell, we had Lucas field a punt from Brett a couple of years ago, and that was just straight up. I mean, it couldn't have been more clear.
I need some redemption.
We're not going to do it with Johnny. It's not like you tear your ACL out
Keep
there.
the elbows tight. You'll do it. I got faith in you.
Well, what did you think generally of the special teams operation on Friday in Atlanta?
I mean, it was a little sloppy. You know, our standards are going to be to play clean football and make sure all the returns that we have count. So looking at that from a standpoint of knowing when's the most important time to win on the down is something that we kind of harped on in the film room. So always meat on the bone. You never have a perfect game. That's how this sport shapes up. And with it being, you know, 11 people trying to work together for one thing, everyone's got an individual piece of it. So I'm happy with the effort. There was a lot of really good stuff we put on tape, but the penalties and kind of missed assignments. I had a couple balls that I'd like back punting wise, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Not to give you guys an out necessarily on that sloppiness, because I know you have a standard, but like in-game, preseason game, that's really the first time that you have to go through the operation for real with a lot of young dudes who are trying to make the roster. So does that get factored in? You're expected to perform no matter what the scenario is, but like that's not something that you can replicate necessarily in practice.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we had a lot of exposure of playing against other teams with the joint practice in Tampa and the two with Atlanta. So we got a lot of, you know, extra reps with guys that weren't, you know, in the Titans two-tone blue, but it was just a live officiated game, you know, which in practice you can get away with some stuff, but in a game they're going to be calling everything as they see it. So you got to play really within the you know, letter of the law. But it was fun to be out there, and guys are, you know, relishing their opportunities. They're taking full advantage. Guys are shooting their shots. And that's one thing with Bones is he's trying to make sure everyone knows this is just about one-on-one matchups. You don't have to worry about this crazy scheme. Use the techniques we've taught you in practice. Just go out there and play free. It's been fun to watch.
Titans punter Johnny Hekker is hanging out here with us. How would you rate Brett Kern's interview skills?
Brett's unbelievable. He's prepared. He's here, you know, especially
it's
being
a whole binder. I think it's just punting. This is just your binder.
Or it's Bryce's, but you definitely have some sheets, man. You got some your accolades. I was going to ask you kind of what you're most proud of over your, you know, now you're going into year 14, and you know, you got the 4 Pro Bowls. We were at one together. You know, you got the All Pros, 4 All Pros. You know, 2 second teams. You got a Super Bowl under your belt. And like if you're looking at these stats, a lot of people wouldn't look at them. These just look like numbers, but man, these are some seriously impressive numbers. And so, what is your, you know, over your now going into 14 years, what's your kind of your proudest moment?
I mean, you've been a guy behind a lot of numbers yourself, and so to like looking at those, I just think of the guys each one of those seasons that helped me produce those things. So whether it's incredible gunner play of downing balls inside the 20, whether it's guys that protected really well and I could just feel like I had forever in the pocket, or just a team that was believing in each other and really prioritized special teams, that stuff is what jumps out. You're looking at those numbers, it's cool to have, but there's always going to be someone coming in that's going to, raise the bar another level and beat some of those records. So I'm not looking for the numbers to, stay forever, but it's cool to see those productive moments. But really, I'm more reminded of the guys that kind of helped in those seasons be special.
Yeah.
This is a city that loves its punters.
Yeah.
So much so that they make bobbleheads out of their punters. So it is our honor to present Brett Kern with Johnny Hecker in attendance. Oh, hell, you can hand it to him. His own
Congrats,
bobblehead.
Brett. That's unbelievable, man. Wow.
You've worked really hard for this.
I'm just really
of all
glad.
the things that you've accomplished, this is your greatest accomplishment.
I'm really
yes?
glad that one of the pictures on here wasn't when it was Mustache November, and I had the nastiest, the nastiest mustache that I tried to grow with like Mark Mariani and a couple other guys. And I remember, the first time I ever was put on a game day book for all the people to see. They chose the picture of me like. I'm just about ready to crush this football, and all you see is this crustache. So I'm glad that the people get some good photos here.
A clean-shaven Brett Kern.
Clean-shaven.
You look good. That's
Johnny, we
unbelievable.
appreciate you hanging out. I know Titans fans are excited to welcome you to Tennessee, and hopefully everything continues on the track that you guys are looking forward. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys at Nissan Stadium on Friday night.
Appreciate it.
Directional playing is back.
Let's go, baby.
Music City.
Let's go.
Pinning teams deep.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Brett Kern has unboxed his glorious bobble leg. It's not a bobble head, it's a bobble leg.
Yeah, it moves just a little bit, just enough to let you know that's what I did for a living.
So this is, what is, not that you aren't deserving of a bobblehead no matter when you want the bobblehead, but what is the genesis of the bobblehead right now?
As far as, I mean, they approached me, Puff, said, hey, man, like, we do a bobblehead with the season ticket holders.
Oh, so it's a gift for season ticket holders.
It's a gift for season ticket holders. And so he sent me kind of like the rough draft, which was rough. And then I kind of told him, hey, the hair's not quite there. And then he added the scruff, which is actually pretty darn good.
It's pretty good.
I'm not a fan of, it looks like they have some aging wrinkles on my forehead.
Show the audience on camera on Zone TV for those. That's very close.
It is very close. Sorry. There it is.
There we go. There is the Brett Kern bobble leg for those of you who are season ticket holders coming to.
Very fragile too. So. Don't give it to your little kids.
Well,
put it on your mantle.
Can this one sustain a hit to the chin like from Devin White the way that you did in that Bucks game a couple years ago?
Snap in half. That was,
buddy. That's as close as I've seen a live human being.
Yeah, half of my soul is still in Nissan Stadium after that hit.
That's got to be such a weird thing too when you get that rough draft to be like, no, you didn't really get my jawline right.
I'm trying to be polite to Puff. And Puff and I go way back. We know each other obviously from a long time being together.
Jared Puffer, who is a member of Titans PR for the audience who may not know, he's who is responsible for tasking the football players and coming up here and dealing with us.
I think it's good. It's an honor.
It's good.
It's an honor to have your own bobblehead, not with a giraffe.
Kirby has a
Kirby.
Did you hear Kirby immediately brag about his own bobblehead?
Yeah, he's the only one of any of us.
Go ahead. You have training camp observation. Don't get all upset. Rip things across the table here because you can't defend
Glad
yourself.
I moved the bobblehead out of the way.
I mean, for God's sakes, Kirby.
Reenact that hit.
You better have training camp observations.
Deafening Kirby voice in 3, 2.
All I said. I promise this is not Charlton Heston.
Nobody would accuse.
It doesn't have a. That's an awesome design. I love the leg. That's cool. That's a new one, but it doesn't have a giraffe.
The hubris of this man to be able to be like, yeah, it's not as good as my bobblehead.
The fact that there's a bobblehead exists of this mug is just a mystery in and of itself.
I do have a question we did not get to ask Johnny Hecker really quickly. What have you made of the punt return battle right now? It feels like it is so neck and neck across the board. Prochet and Jackson alternating. How does DK factor in? Just from what you've seen, what do you make of that battle at the moment?
I think Prochet's kind of got the upper hand. I mean, even seeing how he's involved in the offense Friday night, I think he had 4 catches or something for 30 yards. Yep. And so to see him at receiver, because that's the other thing too, is like, you need that receiver. If you're going to have 5 guys or even 6, like, that 6 better be able to dress, right? And so for him, the old adage is the more you can do, right? And so if he can be a punt returner, kick returner, and then also, if needed, if he has to sneak in there and take some wide receiver reps too. But he's been consistently starting punt return. He had a good one the other night for 11 yards, and he's done it. I mean, this is year 7 for him.
Yeah.
And so just kind of seeing where he's at and where he's at in the offense, kind of when he went in to go play. Compared to Jackson, came in a little bit later. You don't want to read too much into it, but I think Prochet's got the upper hand right now.
And, I'm trying to do what the coaching staff has said that they were going to do, which is not attach last year's Jaquan Jackson to this year's Jaquan Jackson. But it does, like Brett went on the one that he fielded on in the I guess that was that the one where Pinion got him on like the 6-yard line, I guess, where Jaquan is kind of falling backwards a little bit? Like it just it's a little roller coaster ride for me where I'm seeing that and like, okay, he didn't fumble, but there are things that he does that just give me a little PTSD if I'm watching.
Yeah, no, that's very understandable. I think technique at times is as far as him being able to actually get under the ball, kind of tuck those elbows in, to receive the punt. And here's the other thing too is, Johnny's got a bunch of tools in the tool bag. He's got a lot of junk balls. Well, there's also another guy, Logan Cook, in the division in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He's got the banana ball. He's got a knuckleball. And so, you're going to go up against some guys that have some junk. Rigoberto Sanchez in Indy, he's got a junk ball now too. And so, You want somebody back there that looks confident, right? That their base is underneath them, and they can catch what they need to catch. And if they need to peter what they need to peter, then that's what they need to do. And even on the first punt, Pinion had a great punt. Prochet, usually 7-yard line, 6-yard line, is you let it go over your head. And Pinion had a great punt down to the 2, took a little nice Scotty Scheffler spin back.
Oh, my God.
That just kind of is what it is. But I like the way Prochet is looking back there from a special team standpoint, and also even a little bit on offense.
You have for years been our golf analyst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk to me about that Scotty Scheffler shot.
Oh, he's just unbelievable. First guy.
That was disgusting.
Him and Tiger Woods, the last 2 guys to win 5 events in a PGA Tour calendar year. That's just it's incredible what he's doing. And so thankfully he's playing some really good golf. Coming up here, obviously Tour Championship coming up this week, and then the Ryder Cup at Bethpage, which is going to be electric. Crazy setting, there in Long Island for the Ryder Cup. So he's playing some great golf, and we were even chatting about kind of like comparing Cam Ward, right? Yeah. It's like we're trying to compare Cam Ward and what he's done. It's like, well, you're really trying to compare a golfer in his first 5 holes of his round of golf. And there's little things you can take of, if Scotty missed, his first 2 fairways, you kind of blocked them right. Like, you can analyze those first couple holes, but I mean, Cam hasn't even played a game, let alone even a full half. And so you kind of have to dissect things when he's only out there. But gosh, I would just love to see Cam at least play a half, which I know won't happen Friday night. But you going out to Denver, I don't know. I watch preseason football just because I like just to have football on the TV. But Denver just annihilated Arizona. Arizona had 130 yards total offense. Denver had 580. Denver played some starters. They played some backups, but Blake Gillikin had 9 punts. I mean, it was just so. I mean, I'd love to have Cam get some more reps because that Denver opener is gonna be tough.
Yeah, powder is wet for a lot of people in Denver.
You might have to explain to Brett,
including
what
their
the hell
coach.
That means.
Coach Mack, one of Coach Mack's several sayings,
yes,
to keep your powder dry, right?
Yeah.
Not to overreact, not to jump to conclusions. So Robert has come up with wet powder moments. When you're excited about something, you're overreacting to something. Your powder, it's dripping wet. I think a lot of people, including their head coach, have some pretty wet powder on the Denver Broncos as a contender this year.
I wish you would not.
Well, if you look at that defense, they are stout. They were top 10 in a lot of categories last year, and then obviously another year with Sean Payton and Bo Nix and some of the guys that they brought back and got. I think it was first series, similar play actually to Cam. In his rollout to Ioman, right? That deep connection, except it was Bo Nix and Evan Ingram for 50-some yards, right? And so they've added weapons on offense to go with that defense. And so it's going to be a tough challenge.
Quite the introduction for
Jackson Dart. Rookie of the Year, powder. There you go.
There's your powder wet moment.
He tore it up against the Jets.
Brett gets the segment. How about that? I know. I had people immediately tweeting me, that's the best rookie quarterback of any of them.
Yes. They should give out preseason MVP.
Why not? Little preseason, all preseason.
Make it fun.
I brought that up to Fitzy on a Fox show the other day. He goes, that's the stupidest thing you've ever said.
No, I agree with you. Why not?
Yeah, Jackson Dart is in the driver's seat.
MVP.
That's right.
Did you see Happy Gilmore too?
I have not.
Oh,
which is a shame. I probably should.
It's good. Scotty Scheffler was great. All the guys.
Was he great, or is he good for like a golfer that's active?
Well, that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Great is a word that you toss around too.
I loved it, man. I loved the movie. It was good.
Well, we always love when Brett Kern visits with us. Now we have to send him off into the Titans facility to go claim boxes of Brett Kern's balls.
A lot of requests.
He's gonna be throwing them out on 24 for people. He needs a bobblehead cannon, like a T-shirt cannon, just launching.
That thing would hurt
to
catch. This thing would hurt.
That would hurt many people.
Yeah, buddy, appreciate you stopping by.
See you all Friday.
We'll do it again on Friday.
Yep, always enjoy it.
That's Brett Kern hanging out there with us. We'll let Brett go, and we'll start some polls.
Well, no, we won't. We need Kirby's practice observations.
Oh, Kirby's practice observations. I didn't see a notebook. I didn't see it.
It's all in that noggin of his.
Did you just attempt a Christian Wilkins, Kirby? Stop that.
Say what?
You're on camera.
What did you do, Bert?
Go on, Kirby.
It's okay. Just give your practice
observations today. Is we had punters on. We've got all the inside of the punters. It was hot, and I didn't care about one bit what was going on in the field.
Why?
Because it's hot. It's preseason.
Kirby's done. It's dog days of camp,
Hook me up
baby.
about the second week of September. I'll weigh in.
Kirby's ready for the season.
What the hell kind of observation is that? I don't care anymore.
It's called honesty.
Threw in the towel.
You know what? I can't even yell at him. I basically did that in October with the Titans season after that Packers game.
Well, you're at mid-season form with your bemoaning after the games on Insta, and you messed up the packing of the gear. So I'm done.
He's had it. He's had it.
Yeah, but I get paid for those posts where I'm bitching about whatever it is that the Titans
I don't get paid for repacking the gear after you mess it up.
His mom Venmos him every time he does something good on
That's
Instagram,
right.
Kirby.
Did you eat your vegetables?
Yeah.
Just $10.
Yeah.
Are those the observations?
That's it.
That's it.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's do some polls. I'll see you Friday. We're in the studio on Friday.
See you, man. Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Whose stock is up from the Titans' preseason win over Atlanta? Scoob says Alec Iomanner.
Yeah, pretty good. For Alec Iomanner, Gunnar Helm, Cedric Gray, I think are a couple of names that are mentioned.
Those are the main three.
You know what? I thought like Blake Hance for the first time that he played with that starting offensive line unit. The first week it was Rupchich filling in at right guard for Kevin Zeitler. I thought that they've acquitted themselves pretty well.
Det is going with James Lynch. Little defensive line depth shout out. Was a better day overall for the D-line.
Ross, that was your stock up candidate, yes? James Lynch?
Indeed, I was very impressed.
Very impressed.
He texted us, mention James Lynch as a stock up candidate. You cowards is what he texted us.
All right. Stand on it, Ross. Whose stock is down from the Titans' preseason win in Atlanta? King Isaac says Van Jefferson. Most people are saying Van Jefferson.
Well, and Robert noted to us via text that he was over here on the jugs machine catching over-the-shoulder passes,
Yes.
which is the kind of pass that he dropped in Atlanta.
How would you sum up your expectations of Joey Aguilar this season? Eldon says 8 wins and don't suck. Karen says game manager.
Whatever surviving looks like, as long as they can make him look viable in Josh Heupel's offense. What's the running back situation like? Like, are they going to be able to lean on that ground game?
They are.
That they have.
The thing is, they have every year of the Heupel era. They've rushed for over 2,500 yards every season.
No, I know, but I mean, isn't this going to be as critical a year for that as any?
It is, but it's a deep running back room. They'll probably go more by committee than they have in the last 2 years, but I think they're very happy with what they have in that room, and I don't expect much drop off, even though Dylan Sampson is in the NFL now. I say just be fun for Joey Aguilar. Let Tennessee offense be fun.
But
again.
if they're fun and they win 5 games, like, what is that?
Well, that doesn't sound very fun. Those are the polls.
He was so upset. That's going to do it for us today. That was a lot of fun. Go check out the podcast. If you missed any of it, Robert and I will be back on prime time tonight, even though he tries to weasel his way out of it every day. See you then.